Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello, you're listening to the podcast, so there I was. It's how all great aviation tales begin. This is episode 104, coming down like a gun safe with a lot of guns.
That was a great description, because when he told the story, I was like, okay, I got it. You know,
Right?
right? A gun safe with a lot of guns coming right out of the sky.
Yeah, man. That's faster than a dock in a Bonanza.
But coming out of the sky faster than Doc and a Bonanza. Disco, what a great interview. Very animated, you know, he's a great storyteller. He's, you know, he was one of the guys that flew in the first Gulf War in the Harrier, and, you know, Repeat and I sat and watched the whole damn thing on CNN at VMA 223. So when they came back and they were telling their stories, you know, we looked at these guys like they were, you know, legends, because they had war stories, and we didn't have any war stories.
Yep. He did some cool stuff, and he
Right.
he did some really cool stuff and wound up getting featured in People magazine over it. That was one of it. But
Yeah.
you said something here, and I want to reemphasize that. You listen to this show, you are going to howl. Two things about that. One, we get a Christmas card from him every year, and my wife gets angry if she doesn't get it. She's never met him, but howls when she reads his Christmas card every year. And he's just as funny on this show as he is in his Christmas letter.
He could do stand up. I mean,
So.
he really could do stand up.
Yep.
He's that
absolutely.
funny of a guy.
Absolutely. And one of our listeners decided, you know what? It's late. I'm tired. Company just left. I'm going to bed, but I'm going to watch the video stream on YouTube for 5 minutes before I go to bed. And 2 hours later, turned it off. That's how good this is.
Yeah.
So,
You know, he goes, you know, it went fast, like it always does, right?
yeah.
Next thing we know, we've been talking for damn near 2 hours. And we're like, holy shit, Disco.
Yep.
We got to let you go, bro, because, I mean,
We do.
you know, we could keep going.
But we didn't let him go completely. Remember, now, if you're a Patreon supporter or you go to sotherawas.us/donate and donate directly, then we give you the links to the private video for the extra show. And we spent another 28 minutes talking to him after the show with two more stories.
He had two more great stories.
Yeah.
gosh.
One where he almost ejected and one where he was dropping rock eye in Iraq and looking up at the ground doing it.
Yeah, that was another. You know, I was there when he told the story. I was
Right.
totally there. He put you right there.
Yeah. He imitates everybody. He's got great voices and all that stuff. He's talking about the Iraqi soldier sitting on the tank having tea with all the time compression. It's like, oh my God. So,
And some of the pranks that he pulled throughout his career are epic. I mean,
Absolutely
epic. Not
epic.
flying pranks. I'm talking about pranks in the off-duty type status, pranks on his skipper, pranks on. I mean, you know, nobody was off limits to this guy.
Brilliant stuff. He was fearless in the shit that he pulled.
Yeah,
So it was awesome.
you're gonna
Hey,
enjoy
before
it.
we get out of the way, let's cover a couple other quick admin things. We got some new ratings this week, some new 5-star ratings. I'm going to read one here real quick. Repeat Fig and their outstanding guests present their past experiences in an exceedingly compelling way for all the listeners. Their stories of past adventures will have you laughing on the edge of your seat, hopefully not on the ejection handle. Share the sorrow of many who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And I highly recommend following them on Rumble to watch the video broadcast and see the added nuances and get so much more out of it than you would otherwise. So thank you for all your service. Episode number 54, Major Brian Punchy Shule, retired, hit home for many of us. It was his last interview, and less than 2 weeks later, he passed away. Ladies and gentlemen, many of those interviewed have said they just wanted their stories documented. This podcast is one for me that makes me proud to listen to for everyone's heroic careers. Repeat and Fig, thank you for all you do and to bring these historic interviews, not to mention your own careers, you are both ever so humble about. Stay safe and check 6.
That's truly humbling to hear that review. I mean, it really is, right?
Absolutely. And a couple more. So if you want to give us a 5-star review, go to sotherawas.us/rate, and we would really appreciate that. Those help push us up and get other people listening to us.
We just keep getting bigger, and hey, share the show because it doesn't cost anything. Tell your friends. Tell your friends to listen. It's fun.
Yeah.
Right? Mowing the lawn, driving down the road.
We have 3 people who have stepped up in the last 60 hours to support us financially. We got Jerry Mullen, who gave us a $25 donation, as did Phil Marie, and I hope I'm spelling or saying your last name right, Phil. Another $25 one-time donation at sotherawas.us/donate. We're deeply grateful. And then Matt Geyer stepped up at sotherawas.us/Patreon and became a division lead by donating $15 a month, pledging $15 a month to us. So thank you. That money will go directly to help putting this show together and bring more great aviators like Disco to you.
I got a call sign for Matt.
Oh, do it, man.
Matt Fall Geyer.
Okay.
Call sign Fall.
Fall Geyer.
Fall Geyer.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Yeah. And thank you, Phil, and thank you, Jerry. Very humbling. Thank you all, gentlemen.
Indeed. We're deeply grateful for that. We have over 800 members now on our Facebook group, sotherawas.us. So it's facebook.com/sotherawas.us. Follow our Facebook group, and we also have a Facebook page. Follow that as well, and get all the content, get the announcements when the shows are going to be recorded, that sort of thing.
Hey, and this is a good opportunity to say thank you to Bago for managing our Facebook account.
Right.
He does it behind the scenes, and he's awesome. Thanks, Bago.
He does indeed. And thank you to Styx for doing in-show production. Not this week with Disco, but last week we had a story. We did the extra story with Lobo, and it was about the call sign Simba. And as he told what happened, damn if Styx didn't have the screenshot from The Lion King up there, and I almost fell out of my chair laughing. It was brilliant. So
I know, right? It could have been better timed.
No. It could not have. It was great for you. For those of you on Patreon, you've got the link, and we're happy to share that with you. Thank you so much for all you share with us. I don't know, Fig. I think we should get out of the way and listen to Disco, because I need another workout, another core workout.
Right? This here is a true story.
Let's get out of the way. Don't sit on the ejection seat handle.
Don't do it.
It'll leave a mark.
Smallest cockpit on the tanker. Through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that. Thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly.
So there I was. There was a gentleman that is in one of these pictures here. He was going through the IET syllabus at VMAT 203. You're laughing already, aren't you? At
yes.
Cherry Point. I think it was like maybe three classes or something like that. And I don't know, 3 flights or something. And I think I had him on his first flight. So we sit down, we brief. And if you know me, that's great. If you don't know me, that's too bad, because everything to me is funny. And I'm kind of a clown. And I like to have fun. I'm always looking for a way to make things fun for me. I don't care if it's fun for you.
I don't.
So anyway, we get out into the jets. I think we have two single seaters, and we get on runway 32 and do what's called a stream stow. So we're 1,000-foot separation on the runway. And the typical thing would be to say, your call sign Disco's rolling, rolling, go. Boom, and away we go. Well, I'm playing a student, and I'm here to have fun. And I don't really care if the other guy does or not. So I just go with the power. And I think the first clue that the guy was with to realize that, things are going to go interesting here, was you kind of see the smoke and the exhaust blowing, and I'm just gone. Because that airplane accelerated like crazy. So I'm gone. I'm airborne. I'm gone. I head south. We're going somewhere down south toward Myrtle Beach. I think maybe we were doing a low level, so it was maybe the 1074 or something like down there by Cape Fear. And I get up to I think I leveled off at 12. They said, climb to maintain, blah, 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 turn here. And so I get up there 12, and I'm just like all the way to idle. And I get that thing. I think it was 15 units, but it's been 1,000 years. But really right on the edge of stall. So you're just hanging on the blades and barely airborne. I think it was 15 units. And I got that baby just dancing right there. And I'm just, so it's flying like this, going through the air. Next thing I see, there goes
Fishing awake.
At least 200 knots of closure. Speed breakout, just gone. Trying to join up on me.
Breaking stop.
I remember him just going.
Oh, okay. And I know there's more. To this.
Oh, yeah. He just goes, that was beautiful. That's all he said is he just blows by.
He says that was beautiful.
Yeah, he goes, that was beautiful. And I'm in my jet. I am laughing my ass off because the beginning and the middle, already I was like, this is just going to be a blast. The rest of the way, it's just great, man. This was awesome. I already screwed him over twice. I'm having a good time, and we'll just see how the rest of this plays out. But yeah, that's a good start. I remember that, man.
Oh, man, that is outstanding. Hey. Greetings, everybody. Repeat here, coming to you from New Hampshire today. My co-host, Fig, is somewhere on the East Coast. Where are you, Fig?
I am in Hilton Head, South Carolina, broadcasting from my aluminum tube.
Nice.
That I'm traveling in right now.
Nice. And so, on the video, your audio may be...
Our guest.
So there's a big lag here because he's recording on his phone, so that may happen a little bit. But yeah, go ahead and finish introducing Disco here, if you would.
I was just going to say it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our guest today, Harrier pilot, legend extraordinaire, part-time comedian, full-time excellent airline pilot, our friend Disco. Welcome, Disco.
Flexing the guns. Welcome, Disco. That was outstanding.
Well, I'll segue because I'm thinking about that too with flexing the guns. I got to tell you guys. I already got another story.
Oh, absolutely. That's what this is about.
I know. And so this was you got neither one of you two. Fig, were you in 223? Or which gun squad?
Yeah, he was 223 with me.
He was 223 with you. That's what I thought.
Yeah, 223.
So neither one of you two poor miserable wretches got to go to the Westpac. You ever did a Westpac tour? Just a 6-month UDP.
We did in '92.
We did do it in '92 with the PI was closed to us, so we didn't do that.
Okay. Yeah, the PI. That's because
there was a volcano or some shit.
Yeah, Mount Pinatubo. I remember that thing blowing its top over there. It was so when I was in the infantry for a year, I used to have all these ex-Vietnam. Our staff NCOs were all ex-Vietnam vets, and so the stories and stuff. So they're sitting there telling me as a young second lieutenant, because I got to be good friends with a lot of staff NCOs, because a smart lieutenant does that, and they'd be telling me about stuff in the Philippines. I'm like, you guys are so full of shit. When we went over there, they weren't full of shit, man. Everything they said they did over there, the little monkey shows and the banana across the room and the hot dog and the picking up all that stuff. They do that. It's true. It's unseemly. Oh God, it's just a horrible thing to witness. So anyway, we're over there and we're doing Coat Thunder, which is like red flag, which is like it was one of the big exercises with the the big theater room, and you kind of debrief everything afterward and all the people, moving pieces and parts. You get 15 airplane dogfights with F-16s, F-15s, Hornets, and Harriers, and then ingressing into targets, dropping. It was crazy. It was nuts. So we're over there having a good old time, and there's a picture of Sal, Dave Salthay, standing on the top of his jet, flexing like this, and it's it says it was great. It was our cruise book. It says master of the 9G monster break, and then the next pictures of him in his utilities serving coffee as the ODO for the next 2 weeks. He got grounded because he overstressed the jet. But it was just jungle rules over there in the Philippines. The flying was amazing, and the stuff we got to do. It was just like it was a clown show, man.
I had a bootleg copy of somebody made a squadron video of your Westpac on a VHS tape. I got a bootleg copy of it. It's awesome to watch. It's set to all kinds of music, a lot of Bon Jovi, and there's, you guys at the club, and some other guys are coming by the club, in the break and doing just
silly
shit.
That was most of that was actually, I was the one that edited. Most of it was filmed with my video camera that I bought in when I was over in Westpac. So I think somewhere I've got the original raw footage, and I edited down, and it kind of got spread around to everybody there. And then Turbo did some Gulf War stuff, but he blended in our Westpac. He has Westpac tapes that I guess he posted on Farcebook. And when I'm looking at those, I'm going, I remember that footage. I took that. Or my camera, I'd hand it to somebody. Like when we were landing in Pohang I can't think of that. It was a Team Spirit, I think, maybe, with the Koreans. And, we'd run into Russian, and you'd run into all these Russian planes. They're flying around out there. You'd join up on, or they join up on us, or we join up on them. And it was crazy. It was all that Cold War crap. But I get we're landing on
Cold War was still going on then.
Yeah, these pads. We're landing on these pads in the middle of this, the shoreline deserty area. And Rosie's got my camcorder. So he's walking around filming people landing and taking off vertically. And that got kind of blended in. And so either I took video or my camera that passed around like a teenage girl. And everybody was using it. So it's kind of prostitution.
All right. Hey, I want to back way up for a second. Right. Way up.
Okay.
You kind of glossed over this. And I know this story, but so you spent a year as an infantry officer, but before that, your commissioning source, you were PLC. You were a PLC, platoon leaders course guy for commissioning.
Yeah, in fact, we just found out a few minutes ago we had the same evil man from hell as a platoon sergeant. Yeah.
Mr. Gladstone.
Staff Sergeant Gladstone, wherever you are, you owe us an apology.
I mean, that guy, he smoked at least a half a pack of cigarettes a day. He could outrun all of us.
Yep.
You never sweat, or he changed his clothes so quick you would never see. You never saw a drop of sweat on this guy. I mean, he was inhuman, otherworldly.
4% body fat.
Yeah, and he was evil beyond belief. I mean, that guy.
Were you guys PLC or OCS?
No, I was OCS.
PLCs.
Yes.
You did OCS.
I was OCS guy. Yeah. So I actually had. I'm gonna give you the quick and dirty one. So I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy when I was a kid. I wanted to be in the Air Force, And I was an alternate, and they said, okay, you can go to the prep school. And I'm a high school kid. You can go to the prep school for a year, then you go to the academy. I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do. So in the meantime, I also got applied for an Air Force ROTC scholarship 4-year. I got that, and I was going to go to Colorado State. I got accepted to a couple different schools, but I decided Colorado State. The depth of my thinking was, well, there's mountains there, dude, so there's got to be snow, and you can ski. Let's go there. So that was my choice. And then 2 weeks before I was supposed to go, I bagged that, and the Air Force was pissed. So I ended up going to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Toward the end of my education time there, have a rethinking of what I wanted to do, and go into the Air Force office. They look at me. This is Reagan years, so it's hard to get in the military because everybody wanted to do it. Everyone want to fly jets. So I walk in there and they pull up my social and they went, "You turned us down." I go, "Yeah." And they go, "Get the f- out of here." And I went, "Really?" And they go, "Yes, out." So I went, they just threw me out. So I went into talk to the Navy, and the Navy processed me through. And the guy says, "Hey, you're my number one candidate, but you're not Black, Hispanic, or a woman." This is 84. He goes, "I can't even process you for surface warfare." And I went, "What?" He goes, "I can't." He says, we got quotas right now. We're trying to fill all these quotas. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Wow. And then I know, well, it's like everybody gets discriminated against sometime in their life. It's just life. It's the way it is. It sucks, but it's life. So the Marine guy, his name's Doug Hamlin. He's actually I think he's the executive director for the NRA now. Smart guy from Grosse Pointe, Michigan. He was the officer's selection officer. And he's the one that grabbed me and he goes, "Hey, I'd like to look at you and bring you through the process." So I got an aviation slot for the 5 Western states. I think there were like 2 slots. So that's kind of how it started. So I ended up I graduated from college, and the next day I was in, and actually Hoot Gibson, the astronaut he was a Navy pilot. Yeah, Navy. Hoot Gibson had gone to Cal Poly also. So he spoke at my graduation. And the next day I was in Quantico, Virginia at Washington National Airport, getting picked up by enlisted Marines for OCS for the next, I think it was 16 weeks.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just going, and you have no idea what you're getting into. And, when you get there, you're just, I don't know how the Marine Corps is now, But back then, man, back in the old Corps when we were, I mean, man, back then it was. I mean, they would actually when you at port arms, when they got mad at you, they'd hit your rifle so that the front sight post it hit you in the forehead and just leave a huge divot, and you'd have blood dripping all down your face and everything. So they didn't hit you, but they hit your rifle. That was cool. And you know Gladstone, man. It was brutal. And I got invited to smoke and joke and hang around when I got.
He was a beast.
So yeah, I got my hair cut. I'm walking out. And I don't know if you guys remember when you get your haircuts there at OCS anyway, at Quantico. It was at Brownfield. So I'm there at Brownfield. I get my hair cut. I walk out and there's this, you got those 4 black guys and you can't understand what they're saying. They got your head like a bowling ball. And they're going, talking to each other. And I walked out and I had long hair. And all of a sudden it's gone. I'm walking out. There's this, like 4 full-length mirrors. I look at myself. I start busting up. So I'm like, I walk out the door and there's Sergeant Lynch. He's, like about this. He's about this tall, but he's about this wide. He probably was a college wrestler. The guy was just solid muscle. And he jacks me up and he's like, Biglin. And he's banging the bill of his hat on my forehead, going ding, ding. And he's like, you think this is funny? And I'm like, oh, I'm just kind of doing the tap dance verbally around. And he says, you're going to come to my hatch tonight. You're going to smoke and joke and hang around with me, which meant I go there, bang, bang, bang on the bulkhead. And he lets me in. And there's a pull-up bar in his office. And he goes, get up on that thing. I'm like, what? He goes, what do you mean what? Get up on it. So I'm hanging from this thing. And he's smoking cigarettes and telling me jokes while I'm hanging on this pull-up bar. Well, you know how long you can hang up on a pull-up bar? A minute and a half. I'll say, down you go, get back up there. We did this nonsense for 15, 20 minutes, until I was just jelly. And he goes, no, get back out of here. So, I know it's funny. I told you everything was funny to me.
It's funnier when it's happening to somebody else.
Oh, yeah. But I learned really quick. Man, OCS, I was a little slow on the uptake, but it took me about a week. I went, you need to shut up and not laugh.
Yeah.
So anyway. So that's those are some of my. Sounds like he's with his boyfriend right now.
Yeah, exactly. Fig, you have completely broken up. He said, I think he said something about giving whole new meaning to smoking and joking and hanging around.
Yeah, but, it actually did the same thing for me because I didn't really know what it meant, and after that, I was like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to smoke and joke and hang around with anybody. That was horrible.
That may be a show title there: smoking, joking, and hanging around.
God.
All three at the same time.
It's hysterical now when you think of it. It's really funny. But yeah, so after that, my class ended up getting royally screwed. I mean, I had a really great experience in the Marine Corps, I feel incredibly blessed to have had the opportunity to do it. But it's the government that you get lied to and you get deceived and all that stuff. So I ended up in the infantry. Not really. I had a choice to do that. And I also
did you have an air contract?
I did. In half my class. It's a long story. The Marine Corps lied to us. There was a lot of players involved.
I was in that same thing. It was 84 where they sent a bunch of us to the fleet.
Yep.
And
everything
sucked.
I don't know if were you in the theater when General Maloney came and spoke to all of us and told us how?
Yes.
Okay. See, General Maloney. Yeah, and the thing where it blew up and the Navy showed up was one of the guys in my class who had been a Wall Street trader, and he had some very, very wealthy connected clients.
Ooh, okay.
So when he wrote a letter to his congressman and some of his buddies, that's when things blew up in the Marine Corps space. So that's where all those guys. So half my class just disappeared, went to the Navy, and the Marine Corps.
Navy, yeah.
Pissed. And I was this far. I was actually walking down the hallway to put in. I'm done. I'm going to the Navy. And we had one. He was Tom Kiley. He was a Cobra pilot. He sees me walking by, and man, I walk by, and he grabs my arm and drags me in his office and just starts chewing my ass. And I had some mixed emotions because I actually knew that one of my options was to go in the infantry for my stash time. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go to. I just thought after being at TBS, I was like, God, I like a lot of things about the infantry. And I almost went to Ranger School in 29 Palms. They were dangling that in front of me to keep me from going to flight school. I wanted to do it. I'm like, I'm going to flight school. But so I ended up staying in the Marine Corps at that point, and half my class left. I had mixed emotions the rest of TBS, but at the end of the day, I'm glad I stayed, and I really enjoyed flying AV-8s. It was an amazing experience, and like I said, I worked with some unbelievable people. Just great people in that community. We had our shitbirds, but overall, awesome time. Awesome time. Enjoyed it. But the infantry it was a good experience. I learned a lot. Like I said, my staff NCOs, this is a great story too. So we had this one, he was a gunnery sergeant. His name was Gunny Berry. And he had this like nasty porn stash. And I think he'd been busted a million times when he was in Vietnam. He should have been like a master gunnery sergeant. And he's one of those guys when he hated lieutenants, hated them. A lot of those staff NCOs did. So when you first show up there, you're at Butter Bar, you're like, hey, how you doing? Hi guys. He looked at all of us. I'm always, I'm smiling all the time, so I'm having a good time. So that was bad too. Like, lieutenant that's smiling, that's not a good thing. So I walked up to him one day and I said something to him, and he goes, "Okay, Lieutenant." And I just kind of looked at him. I kind of looked at him and smiled, and then he goes, "Hey, make sure that lieutenant is billed for his MRE." And I'm like, whatever. So about a week later, I wanted to ask him a question. I walk up to him. It's the same thing, it's like 5 words, Lieutenant. And I start cracking up. And he looks at me, and he doesn't really know what to think because, he's being disrespectful barely.
Yeah.
He's right on the edge, and he knows it. But I'm not mad. I'm not getting you indignant or pissed off or anything. And I said, Gunny, I got to tell you, man, I've never seen anybody say lieutenant so closely to the edge of contempt, but just barely walking the edge of respect. That was a work of art. It was amazing. He looks at me, and I start laughing, and he starts laughing. After that, it was Lieutenant Begelin. We were great friends after that. But so you had to learn how to work these guys because they were so crusty.
Well, he was waiting for you to jump his shit.
Yeah, he was waiting for me so he could just basically just be, borderline disrespectful. But I just was like, it was so funny to me. I just I actually like this guy because he's good at what he's doing, and he knows how to do it, and he knows how to get away with it. So I respect that, And we were great friends after that. So anyway, then I went to flight school, and we went through that whole process. So there's all million stories through that too. Because I got a buddy, and he met a girl, and he got pregnant. So I took his day to class, and when I went through flight school, I was there in a helo push, and I couldn't believe it. It just was, it's like a clown show. The day you show up in the Marine Corps to the day you get out, it's a clown show, and it's a flip of the coin all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is.
You just never know how.
Can you define helo push? I mean, we know what it means, but for our non-aviation.
Yeah. So in the Marine, because the Marine Corps is smaller, and Marine Corps, I mean, typically when we went through, you guys probably about the same time I did. It's about 1 out of 12 guys would get a fixed wing slot. So it's really competitive to get a jet slot. And I always tell people, if you want to be a jet pilot, go to the Navy, don't go to the Marine Corps, because you're going to probably fly helicopters or MV-22s. You may see a C-130 every once in a while, but you're probably going to be in the rotary community. So the helo push, when I showed up in flight school, so I showed up a class earlier than I was supposed to. And back then there was a muster we'd go to, and guys were showing up in jams and sandals to go to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, enough
on the
of that.
main side.
Yeah,
on the main side.
Everybody's to Charlie's. And I get there, and the pool's about 60 days. So I've been there a week. And then one day, the guy that musters all goes, "Hey, so-and-so, Joe Shit, the Ragman Banats, decided he doesn't want to be a pilot when he grows up. And we have a slot starting Monday. I think it was Friday. Does anybody want it?" And I'm like, I'll take it. These guys are all going to the beach. They've been doing the beach for 30 days. I've been there for a week. And they say, "Hey, does anybody want to start flying?" I went, That's kind of an IQ test. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, well, isn't that why we're here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I started actually pretty quick, and then when I got to my selection process, and I was in VT6, so they adjust the scores based on the squadron. And VT6 was supposed to be a Santa Claus squadron, but that wasn't necessarily the case. It depended on who your instructors were. So I had good grades. I had good grades. I had good academics. I had good flight scores. I had all that stuff, but I still thinking, man, when they adjust my scores, man, because it looked like, hey, you're number 1 right now. After they adjust my scores, I don't know. But I was on the Commodore's list with all my
Sure, yeah.
So I'm thinking, and everybody's getting helicopters anyway. They said everybody's going to get helicopters. So, just you'll get to choose what you want to do when you get done with that. I'm fine. And I was like, well, I signed up for the Marine Corps. I stayed in the Marine Corps. Hey, this is the way it goes. Quit your bitching, shut up and fly, kind of a thing. And I show up the next day. And I get orders for J3, which is Bville. I'm sitting there with my chin hanging on the ground going, what the heck? That's VT6. That's what they look like now.
Yeah. It is. It doesn't look like Food World patch, right? Back in the day, Food World.
Yeah, the guys. It was like a globe, and the other two guys called the Lambert conformals, which is a type of map. Instead of the dodo birds or the black knights or the red knights, and we were
there was a grocery store chain down there at the time, and it was called Food World, and it had the globe, and then so that looked like that.
Yeah, it just.
I was a VT6 when it looked like that. Yeah.
Actually, I have it on the base of one of those. I got a T-34. I can actually show it to you. It's a T-34 with the patch. I'm not the patch, but it carved in the base. The base of is one of those ones carved in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Mahogany.
Oh, right. Yeah, the squadron logo carved into the wooden base of the
the squadron logo. I mean, those guys were amazing. You go, I want this, I want that, and you'd come back and it was perfect. It was amazing what they did.
No problem. 2 days.
Yeah,
come back 2 days.
Please. Oh, I got to tell you that story. You guys will love this. So they put me in charge of. I was in logistics, so I got a way to punish me before Smoke and the XO left the squadron. They stuck me in logistics and made me the RO, just to kind of thing. And so I get sent over to Japan for Westpac. The good part was I was the OIC for the advanced party to go to the Philippines. And putting me in charge of a bunch of idiots, it was a bad move. So we're there for 2 weeks before everybody else shows up.
Right.
It was nothing but fun. I mean, all the enlisted guys and us, we had a blast. And I had the double AMO, Scott Findell. Big guy had glasses like this, and they were this thick. Former cop. And if you go to the Philippines or to Japan and you get the squadron patch or emblem painted on a piece of metal to put out in front of your squadron, took 5 months and a week. So you put it in.
You're only there for 6 months.
Exactly.
Right.
So you get there the first day and you're going, I walk in, I go and I talk to them about this. They go, oh yeah, you put in what we were getting to you. It would be here in June of 75. And I'm going, man, I go, we're leaving the next week. Like, what does the week was? So I just went, a typical Marine. I'm like, fuck that shit. So I go and I go to the metal shop. I get the 2 squadron patches, this big around with the ribbon at the base, cut out of sheet metal. And then I go to, I can't remember what it was. I think it was the Motor T place. And I go, you guys got, yellow paint, black paint, red paint, green paint. The paint's in our patch. I get these in these big cans. I stuff them in a sea bag. I go talk to Scotty Findell. And I went, well, I'm the OIC. We're going to write ourselves TAD orders. We're going to the Philippines. So we get in Air Force. I just decided to do this. We get in an Air Force C-141. And I got this big round thing wrapped in craft wrapper taped, which was the metal sheets, and all this paint. And do you guys have any hazardous materials to declare? Clank,
nope.
Bang, ding, bong. Nope. Ding, bang, bang. So these 2 jarheads get on there. We go down there. I find a guy, 4 days, bam, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So when our squadron got there, they were all set up. But the funny thing so we go down there, and that's my first experience in the Philippines. And I'm just, my jaw's on the ground. I'm just like, what? It is a freaking circus. It's a circus. And we end up going,
an adult circus, I might add.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I
love you long time, no shit.
Any dick, as long as you had a dick, it was Disneyland. It's just crazy. So anyway, we go, and I'm not going to say the name, but we go to kind of an off strip. We're down there in a tuk, in a tuk or what those things are, a jeepney. You're going down there, the little tuk things with the little 3-wheel doodads.
Yeah.
Scott in the back like this, right?
It's a powered tricycle with the 2 dudes in the back and the driver riding it, on the steering wheel.
Filipinos are this, this wide, and we're here like, halfway hanging out. So we go to this bar and we walk in there and we sit down and get a Samagoo, and there's like 25 cents. And Scott gets one. I'm like, and right over there is a squadron commander. I won't say any names or what squadron or anything like that. And he's got 3 little Filipino girls climbing all over him. And I look at him, I'm like this. And he looks at me,
you recognize him?
Yeah, and he recognized. I got Vapor's expression. One of those.
Uh-huh.
And I look over and I'm like, oh, shit. And all of a sudden he looks at me and his eyes are like, they get doing. His mouth hangs open. I'm like, and I'm like, like this. I'm talking to Scott. I'm like, finish our breakfast. We need to get out of here. So the next day, or actually it was, we get our metal things, plates. We go back to church. Yeah, those things. Well, yeah, the little guys right there. Those things.
The tuk-tuks. Yeah.
So we go back to Iwakuni, and I get back there, and all of a sudden somebody goes, "Hey, Skipper wants to see you." I'm like, "Okay."
I bet he does.
Why.
This is the outgoing
I'm
squadron.
not going to say which squadron.
Yeah.
I bet he does.
I bet he does.
Yeah. Anyway, I'd say, so I walk in there and it's like, "Hey, can I get you a cup of coffee?" I'm like, "Hey, this is starting out pretty good. I like it. A little cream, a little sugar." Back before I drank it black.
2 lumps.
Yeah, back before I drank it. Yeah, 2 lumps.
Yeah.
Before I drank
And have it served by a Filipino, would you?
So we're sitting there, jaw jacking. I got my feet up on his coffee table. I'm in my utilities.
No.
So we're going back and forth and stuff. And he finally goes, "So, hey, about the other night." I'm like, "Sir, I don't know what you're talking about." And he goes, "That's good. Great conversation. You have a great day." I'm like, "All right, sir." Out I go. But us going to the Philippines, when we went there, me and Scotty, what a freaking boondoggle. And we get back, squadron shows up. I got everybody's room set up. I got their little Gidon kit. Everybody gets I got 2 beers waiting for them. I mean, everything was just seamless for the squadron when they showed up.
Yeah, you had the shit laid out, right?
Yeah, I had
it laid out.
Everything was
Yeah, so it's a boondoggle, but you're doing your work, man.
Oh yeah, we did a lot of work. I mean, the troops were all set up when they got there. Everything.
I got several questions that I got saved up here. First of all, okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions. You were advanced party. Oh, I see the advanced party, right? Can you just briefly discuss, what's that about? The advanced party, for our non-anointed.
Okay, and then remind me to tell you my toilet paper story. That's even better.
Okay, I'll write that down, and I got more questions as soon as you answer this.
Shit paper. So
say what an OIC is even while you're at it.
So when an advanced party typically would happen is if a squadron's doing a unit deployment, or if they're going on a boat, or if they're going in a unit deployment program. So the unit goes as a unit over to Japan for 6 months. That's a UDP, Westpac or Western Pacific. So we did that, and typically what they'll do is they'll send an advanced party of 15 Marines, enlisted and officers, to liaise with the departing squadron to do a transition of a plant and equipment, meaning all the Marine Corps property, which I had to sign for, and turning over the spaces and turning over anything operationally, any passed down logs of how to do things, which I used to get so mad when I walk into a shop and the departing guy would go, "Hey, good luck." I'm going, "You got a passed down log?" Nope. So anytime I went anywhere, I'd make a pass down log for the next guy, because that used to just frost my wiener bag. It used to piss me off. And you don't want frost on your wiener bag because it makes it look really
makes it uncomfortable.
It makes your vanilla scented sack look incredibly tiny, and you won't impress anybody with that thing. So anyway, so the advanced party went over there, and we were just kind of setting everything up. So when the squadron shows up, the bulk or the vast majority of the squadron, everything's kind of a seamless transition for them into their spaces, into their workspaces, into their lodging and BOQs or enlisted quarters or staff NCOs and all that. And then into their workspaces, like maintenance walks in, everything's all set up. They got typewriters, they got file cabinets.
It's a job that you can only screw up, right? I mean, if everything goes great and everybody shows up, that's the way it's supposed to be. But if you screw one thing up, you're going to hear about it, right?
Well, I see people get Navy Achievement Medals for doing stuff, just getting it seamless like that. But man, you screw, and I've seen people get nothing for doing a great job. But man, you like you said, you screw it up, you're going to hear for it for the rest of your career.
That's right. Yeah, it's a no-win situation.
No, it's
if you do everything right.
And I got to do it on the other end going back to church.
Oh, nice.
And then I had somebody try and throw me under the bus, and I was going to shoot him when he got back, but he's lucky I didn't. Yeah, he calls me at 2 a.m, and he's like, "You're going to go to jail." I'm like, "If I find you, I'll kill you first." For calling me, there's one thing. But anyway, that was that. So the toilet paper story.
Wait. Okay, so pool. You were talking about when you went to Pensacola. You were there was a pool. Yes, there's lots of pools, but that's not the pool you're talking about. Can you define that for our?
Oh yeah. So a pool is just a just a bag of guys or girls, whatever. So there's a pool.
Waiting to start.
It's like you're all sitting in a waiting pool with the water right up to your belly button, waiting for the first person who's going to get called out. That's what it is.
So it's above your wiener bag, is what you're saying.
You got a damp wiener bag, and hopefully it's warm. You got 60 people sitting there looking at each other, going, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?"
It's a delay. It's a delay in start.
It's a delay,
right?
Yeah.
And it's a group of people that are all delayed together. They call it a pool. Okay.
And so you're like, so as people are. Well, the thing is people are coming at that time. People were still coming into the pool faster than they ever depart.
And
so
then
you get 3 people coming from the fleet that were supposed to go to flight school, and you get 1 guy going that week. Next one, you get 2 guys come in, 2 guys go out. Next one, you get 4 guys come in, 1 guy go out. So it was getting bigger, and then all of a sudden it started shrinking pretty rapidly. So that's what it is. It's kind of, and it's what it is it's a quintessential example of bad manpower planning by the United States Marine Corps.
Okay,
that's what it is.
Well, it's like an accordion, and it's how they play their music. It's all they ever do.
Yeah. So you can't really blame them because it is a very difficult. You see it in the airline industry too. It's manpower planning. How many pilots do we need? How many flight attendants do we need? What's our planned schedule for the next 6 months? How are we going to work? It's not not to I don't want to throw rocks because that's a thankless job and it's tough.
It's all being done by guys like us who are stashed somewhere waiting to start or do something. We have no idea what the hell we're doing. Yeah. Flip a coin. Look, it literally, I think you're right. Flip a coin planning is what's going on. Or often,
OJT.
I used to hate this and I called it planning or decision by default, which is, I got no other majors I can send there. You're going.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of us, you're doing it. You're learning on the run because you don't really know. You're making a mistake. Oop, you make a 2-degree course correction to the right. Okay, that's good. Oop, too much. 1 back to the left. Yeah. So it's one of those things. So
and the guy in front of you didn't leave a pass down log.
Exactly.
No. Why would you do that?
That's why that was a hot issue for me. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. For
that. All right. One last thing, and then we'll get to the toilet paper. This was early on. You said RO. I know we know what it means, but what is a RO? You said they made me the RO.
The responsible officer.
What does that entail? What does that entail? It's a pain in the ass. So can you?
It entails slightly leaning forward from the waist, tipping your head like this, grabbing the back of your ankles, and saying, "Do you want to be my boyfriend?" And you bring some Vaseline when you do.
Don't clinch.
You get to sign for everything that the squadron has physically present.
Every desk, every chair.
Pen.
Chair, the little footstool, the filing cabinet, the typewriter, blah, 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 blah. And then you sub-custody because that's when a couple of guys decided they didn't want to sub-custody things out when we got to Japan after I did everything nicely for them. And I walked into the rooms and said, let me give it to you in really plain terms. You got about 20 minutes to sign this document because if you don't, I'm getting a flatbed truck and I'm taking all your shit out of here. And I'm going to give it to the first person I find that's Japanese, and you're going to be foot for the rest of the time you're here for the next 6 months.
You can stand.
There's your decision process.
Stand in your office and do.
You now have 19 minutes. You better think fast, fucker. And that's kind of how I approached it at that point because I'd had about enough. It's a pain in the ass job. And that's like you said, the Marine Corps,
it's a thankless job. It's a thankless job. And if you do everything right, you never hear a word about it. But as soon as you fuck it up, it's all in your shit.
I never had a job in the Marine Corps that wasn't exactly like that. I never had a job that anybody ever wanted. I thought ASO would be. I was so grateful to get out of S4, and I go anything but S4. I always wanted to work in ops, and they go, "You're going to be the ASO," and I went, "Okay," and then I did that. And I went, "The worst place to be in ASO is in VMAT 203 back then.
Yeah.
Highest mishap rate of any aircraft in U.S. military history, and you're the safety officer, and you're in the training squadron." You're going to do some paperwork. You're going to be working your
lots.
My ass. I went in there with 10 pounds of ass. I came out with 2. It was gone. It was just constantly typing. But I flew. I flew a ton. I had almost 1,500 hours of Harrier time in whatever it was.
Yeah. And the nice part about being the safety officer, you usually had unfettered access to the decision makers in the squad.
Yeah,
you can walk right into the CO and the XO and go, this is screwed up.
That was good, and you had access to all the other mishap reports, and you could kind of you learned a lot about the process.
That was quite a statistic you threw out there a few seconds ago.
Yeah,
heavy statistic. Being the safety officer for VMAT 203, which had did you say the worst safety record in?
No, I didn't say that. The Harrier jet at the time had the worst mishap rate in the history of U.S. military aviation.
Yep.
Really? per 100,000 hours of flight time. Yes.
Even more than the A4, because I thought the A4.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we blew everybody else out of the water. I mean, just
no
yeah.
shit.
Too many
We were like 4 per 100,000 hours or something.
It was. So, and that's why the Marine Corps always had to fight to keep the jet, because it was, it had too many moving parts, and that quality spread and that cutting score was, from what I understood, I never saw what the number was, but somebody told me one time, because initially when you got in the Harrier community, when they started it, you had to be a test pilot. Had to. So they had no mishap rate, because all these guys were extremely vetted, and then they started kind of opening it up, and then they started crashing jets. And then by the time you guys and I were around, it was basically kind of boil it down to, I can't remember who it was that told me, maybe it's one of my briefings as an ASO, he said, aviation safety officer. He said, we found through all of our statistical analysis that when you have a cutting score, that's your cutting score was your composite score at flight school. Your academics, your flight scores, your blah, 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 your this, that, and the other. And he said, if you're above this number, you're going to be okay. If you were below this number in the AV-8, because if you look at tactical platforms, F-18 Hornet, much easier to fly, way better, more capable aircraft because of all the things it can do, especially back then when they had the radar we did and all that stuff. But he said, if your number was below this number on cutting score, you were going to eject, be dead, or both. Almost like clockwork. And I went, I did not know that. So they kept trying to push people that would be moved to the Harrier community, make sure they were above that cutting score so they wouldn't be a smoking hole in the ground someplace.
Cutting score are you referring to the
composite
score out of composite score from flight school?
That's correct.
From flight school. Okay, yeah.
From the day you got from the day you got winged and up to from when you started to the day you got winged was your composite score was comprised of all the things you did up to that point. Yes.
Man, and Styx just put up the stat. I don't know where I got the number of 31.77 mishaps per 100,000 flight hours.
It was a lot, man.
Good Lord.
It was a lot. Yeah. And so, I mean, really, when I got out of S4, I was like, oh, thank God. Man, I was out of the frying pan and it just right into
Can I go back to the S4, please, sir?
And they turned up the heat and I went, oh, one of those things. I'm like, God, I've never worked so hard in my life. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun, but it was just relentless.
How long were we at 203 together? When did you, let me ask, when did you leave 203?
I left in, I think, March of 93.
Okay, so I was the one that relieved you as the safety officer and then DSS there at 203.
Yes, I believe that's true.
That's how it worked. Because I remember we were in the same office together. Yeah, I had no idea who was doing what job, and I knew you left pretty early. And I seem to recall you had a move package to Yuma, and you put return to sender.
Yeah, well,
address unknown.
They were pissed at me, and then like I told you, I got royally boned in 542. Yep. And it was going to be a double signer, but I actually, the CO, I would say just anyway.
Yeah.
Senior officers in the squadron had done something that was illegal, fraudulent, and unethical. Oops. And they got called out by a guy who was a Naval Academy graduate and smart guy, zero common sense. I mean, he's one of those guys that's like, dude, you're going to be dead if they don't take you out of a jet. You're brilliant.
He was a stupid smart guy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We went in Atlanta one time. We got on the ground at Dobbins, and he was running when he saw me walking toward him because I was going to kill him. I was like, you almost got me fucking killed. I wanted to kill him. I mean, he just, and we were in the air, and I was branding in the squadron, and he's a section lead, and he shouldn't even be allowed to tie his shoes. And he's going, okay, we're going to do this and that and the other thing. And I'm looking at our gas and going, no, we are not. We can't. And it's minimums. It's minimums in Dobbins. I'm going, we can't, dude. We got like 3,500 pounds of gas. We can't do that and that and survive without running out of fuel.
Minimums.
Yeah, just just gone. No thinking whatsoever. Anyway, he calls the squadron out on this stuff that's a big deal. And they shit can him out of the squadron, make him go be a FAC. So that's the first thing that's really screwed and fraudulent. And then they start pencil whipping all the records and let the perp just walk away from it. So we it kind of blown up, and a guy was coming to the squadron this is kind of funny stuff. It's kind of nefarious stuff. A guy was coming to the squadron whose girlfriend, subsequent wife, was General Gustafson, 2nd Mob CG's adjutant.
Oh.
And she goes to CG 2nd Mob and goes,
Sir, can you do something to keep my fiance from going to 542? Because it's really screwed up.
So it blows up. Phone calls flow down, and all of a sudden they call us in. All the JOs, they call us in, and we're pretty much unloading. And I've been getting screwed royally, and Vern got screwed too. I mean, he got royally screwed. I'm hot, and if I get mad, I'm not nice anymore. I could be a real.
It's not the nice, funny disco anymore, you're saying?
No. I was, and so anyway, we're in there in the CO's office, and Tom Rutledge struts throwing some pretty good hand grenades, and I'm kind of laughing, but I'm still mad. And so I kind of go, you know what? I'm gonna join in here. So I start throwing some claymores and hand grenades, and the CO can tell I'm pretty hot, and he's a little nervous. So he goes, "Okay, guys, thanks for the input, blah, 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 all that stuff. I guess we need to make some changes." He goes, "Disco, could you stay for a few minutes?" And I did. And it got pretty bad in there. I'd been in justice school, so I kind of knew what I could say and what he couldn't say. And it got a little heated in there. And I knew the sergeant major was over the wall. And I basically threatened the CO. And I said, "Go for it, dude. Let's do this." I said, I'll have you sitting across the street on Woody Gilliland's couch in 15 minutes. And you'll be retired in less than a week, if you're lucky. And it scared him. And so by the fitness report changed. But when I got out at 2:03, because I was going to go to B. Smurf was like, "You're going to go to WTI. You're going to be my assistant op." So I think we're going to 513. And I had orders. Yeah. And I was tempted because I always wanted to go to WTI. I did. I was a great jet guy.
It's the Marine Corps version of Top Gun.
Yeah, weapons and tactics and structure.
Yeah, I like being in the fleet. I like flying the great jets. I like jets with guns. I just like. But when I remember Scratch, he goes Joe Jones, and Joe had sat on, great guy. He was the CEO of 542 at the time. He sat on multiple promotion boards, so he knew him. So everybody's trying to talk me into staying in at that time. And they're like, "You need to stay in." I'm like, well, if you knew what I knew, you probably wouldn't say that. So anyway, he goes, "Bring me your master brief sheet." I bring it in. I go, slide that thing across the desk like a turd, baby. And I'm smiling, just watching because I can't wait to see the reaction. He's going, Oh. He's like, "What happened here?" I said, "Well, that's I'll be going the story. You just going to look at it." And so I tell him the story, and he's like, "Oh, okay." I said, I'd love to stay in. I want to stay in for 20 and everything, but I don't see. I'm going to go to 513. I got like 5, maybe 6 years in the gun squadron still. But then I'm not, then it's what? I'm going to be that guy that's, at NARF or the group begging for flight time, because, I'll have to
then what to do with him. Yeah, you're going to be a mid-level major.
Yeah. I'll understand command. Yeah. So now you're in 16 years, 15, 16 years. And I'm not going to just sit around for the 5 years waiting for retirement. So I'd have to figure out something else to do. So I say, okay, maybe I'll do the LSATs, go to law school, have the Marine Corps send me to law school and do whatever. But it just, it was my path, and that's where I was, and that's where I ended up. And I'm not bitter or angry about it. It just is,
So
you fell into a pretty good gig, out of the Marine Corps.
Yeah, and when I look back, I always tell people, I am grateful that I had the opportunity to do what I got to do, because it was an amazing blessing to do what we got to do, the experience I got to have, and like I said, the people I worked with were the finest Americans I've ever met in my life, across the board.
Amen. Present company accepted. Is that what you're saying?
With the exception of you two assholes.
Whoa, why are you lumping me into that? Come on, I thought we had a thing.
Buddy, when you're in the blast pattern, you're in the blast pattern. That's the way it works.
Hey, I heard this sideways, and I think I got it from Repeat. When you fell into your first job after the Marine Corps, you had that opportunity. Yeah. you got orders like the same day, and you sent them back, like return to sender or something. That's so anyway, what happened was I did a pit turn air to air off the coast. And before I left, I said to Drano, I said, "Hey skipper, can you when I get done, can you stay around? Like I need to talk to you." He goes, "Yeah, sure." He was staying late anyway, so I go in, and before I debrief, I go into Drano's office, and I said, "Hey, just to let you know,
I'm not going to be exercising my orders to Yuma. I'm going to be putting my letter of resignation. He goes, we don't have to let you out. I go, yeah, you kind of do. He goes, you took the bonus. I went, no, I didn't. So they, of course, the next day, who didn't take the bonus, and they screw everybody else, and they wonder why people get frustrated.
Right.
And I'm like, you guys, you do this to yourselves all the time. But I didn't take the bonus, so of course they have to let me out. But so what happens is my package gets hung up at S1 because they're dragging their feet. Hoping I'll just whatever, I'll lose the job offer where I'm at Coca-Cola to fly for them. And I kind of figure, I go, something's going on. And I can't remember if I talked to John Carnival, who was the S1. Funny dude. He's a funny guy.
Circus.
Yeah, you have to get to know Circus, though, because he's not funny if you first know him, but he'll throw a zing. He's like Vern. He'll throw a zinger out there. You're like, oh, my God, that was great.
Yeah. He's a sleeper.
Yes, he's a good shit. So anyway, I think he kind of found out through me. He goes, oh, yeah, they're hanging it up right now. So our old S1 officer, or S1 warrant from 542, Mike McGorrick, great guy. He used to he used to get so many. He counsels. You guys can't do that in front of my troops. Okay, McGorrick.
Sorry, McGorrick.
I know, because we're acting like teenagers, and he's trying to make us act like adults. And it's just not working.
No.
So anyway, I call McGorrick and I go, hey, here's what's going on. He goes, can you get a copy of your package? I go, I still have all the paperwork. I just submitted one. I have the originals. He says, send them to this address. So I sent them directly to WHQ or HQMC. Sorry. So they get to HQMC, and about 5 days later, it comes back down to 203, and they're like, "What? How did he do that?" And I just kept my mouth shut. So package gets processed, and there goes Disco out the door, man. Boom. So I mean, I had mixed emotions. I really, really loved the Marine Corps, even though I was bad mouthing your Corps every day when I was around, motherfucker.
Right.
I mean,
well,
I have great respect for the organization, what it stands for, what it does,
and the professionals that do it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, but you can love the Corps and hate the Corps at the same time. Because there's stuff.
Well, if you don't, you aren't a Marine.
I think we all hated certain aspects of that, right?
Oh yeah, well, it's a people business, and if you run into people that there's just stuff. Oh, that's the other thing too. When I got out, Drano wrote me up for a Navy comm, which it's a good medal. Sure. And then I had a couple conversations with people as I got out, and one's wanted to know, why are you getting out, and tell me the truth. I said, sure, want me to tell you the truth. So I tell him the truth. And when he was asking me why I didn't think a guy got promoted that he thought should have got promoted, and I just told him the truth based on my experience and what my observations were. And he goes, you need to be careful what you say, and I went, you need to be careful what you ask, sir.
Right.
You don't want the truth.
Yeah.
Don't ask me the question. So he's the one. He shot down he turned it into a Navy Achievement Medal. I'm like. And that's why I hate the Marine Corps right there, is that kind of horse shit.
Yeah. Way to go.
Guys pull. It's just juvenile, vindictive, childish crap that would piss me off. And it was that kind of stuff.
How many years did you, how many good years did you have in the Marine Corps? How many?
Every one of them.
Well, okay, let me say, how many years was it?
I was in about nine and a quarter, roughly.
9.25 years. All right, 9.25. And how much flight time did you leave the Marine Corps with?
Oh man, I had like 1370. Oh yeah, about 1378 AV-8 time. So I had over, 1,600 hours. I flew a lot.
Yeah, hey, especially at 203, could build a lot of time fast there.
It was also anytime they say, "Would you like to fly?" The answer was, "Well, yes."
Well, yeah. What is it?
Hell yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah,
see these things on my chest. That's why I'm here.
Let me guess.
Hey.
So,
I got a question for both you guys, because you were both aviation. You both were aviation safety guys, right? At one point or another. Yeah. Were you the safety and ATOPS guy in 223, right? Repeat.
I was.
So there was a certain hour limit. When you hit that hour limit, when a naval aviator hit that hour limit, he was probably the most dangerous animal on the planet. Because do you remember what that was? Because it wasn't a lot, but it was like, holy shit.
I think it was between 300 and 500 hours.
Statistically, they were the danger. It was the danger zone.
Yeah, statistically, once you were 500 hours, you were statistically likely to be involved in a mishap.
Yeah, because you knew enough, and you were stupid enough to think you knew enough.
Yeah.
The other thing was really bad.
You became
was,
too confident. It's complacency bleeds contempt, right?
Yeah.
That's what it
Well,
boils down
they
to.
even said in 203, the worst thing to have. And I remember it being a couple of times I went flying with Woody, and we got counseled by Drano when we got back because of something we did. He goes like, "You freaking idiots." So Woody was ops, and he's writing the schedule, and I'm at ASO in the squadron. He's just going, morons. I'm surrounded by morons.
Yeah.
And it was like, and Woody and I just looked at each other and go, yeah, I guess he's right. But it was, we had all this experience. I was like the stand eval officer, and I was giving NATOPS checks and all this stuff. And it's like, I know better, kind of just, we did something. I can't remember what it was something really, dipshitty. So it happens.
Nice.
Speaking of Woody, I got to tell you guys this.
Are you in touch with Woody?
Not as much as I used to be, but yeah, we ping back and forth a few times a year.
Because he's kind of been lost to much of the Harrier community. People have asked about him.
Yeah, he's the programs director for nuclear policy for NATO. So there's your problem, right?
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, he's a GS, whatever. Yes, he's busy. And so he'll ping at me. We usually ping. We were pinging each other. I used to see him all the time 10 years ago. He'd come out to Napa and stay with my wife and I, go on his way to Colorado Springs, go to Cheyenne Mountain. He just do this kind of roundabout through Stuttgart and stay with us. And he just got so busy. But I'll hear from him a couple times a year. But Woody and I it was relentless, the shit we would do to each other. So one day, Orozco was my corporal in safety. And I went down there. He would take stuff down. I don't know why he got lasted in it, but he'd take stuff down to the shredding room where, it takes everything, all the classified stuff turns into little tiny dots.
Yeah.
And one day he's got like these 2 huge garbage bags full of shredded documents that are just dots. And he comes in the door, and I would do all kinds I would take that stuff and I'd put it in people's helmet bags when they go on the road. And shit like, I told you I'm a clown. I'm always, and then at the time I put the coat Texas all over Mongoose's car, I'll tell you that one too. Wow. That was Woody and I. So anyway, I look at Orozco and he's walking out there, hey, get back here. I said, hey. I go, what are you doing with this? He goes, I'm going to take him to get him burned up. And I'm going, no, we're not, man. So Woody bought Scooter's old truck, that old piece of shit green 1962, whatever the hell it was, Chevy manual, stock thing.
3 on the tree.
Didn't have an air conditioner, had a heater. And he always leave the windows, he would ever lock it and leave the windows partly rolled down. So I go, come on, let's go. So we took those 2 massive bags, like 30-gallon bags, and we filled Woody's cab completely full of that shit.
Of the dots?
As far as it would go, the windows were open like this much, and it was like a C all the way across.
No.
So he gets back, and Woody's like, I know who did this. So he comes to my house.
Saw me, you can't prove a thing.
He takes winter Ryan, puts it on my grass, it grows up, says, Disco, you're a faggot, or something like that. So it's growing green in the winter on my front lawn.
Great.
And just like,
great.
So this is like, we do this back and forth. But yeah, that was one of the best ones I did to Woody, was filling his car full of this thing. That was awesome.
All right. I got two things written down here. I got to circle back real quick. S1. What is S1?
S1's
I know what it is.
The admin department. So
Okay.
S1's administration,
Thank you.
S2 is intelligence, S3 is operations, S4 is logistics. So those are the one. A lot of times you hear the terms, hey, I want to see the 1 and the 2. You're
Yeah.
like, huh? So the CO wants to see admin and intelligence. Or, hey, I want to see the 3. OPSO. So I was going to be Smurf's assistant OPSO. So the assistant OPSO out in BMA 513, he would have been the OPSO for 513 when we went out there. So he'd have been the 3.
Thank you.
In those terms. Yeah, man. Hey, ask away.
Hey, one other one from circling back very beginning was explain what a stream stow is, if you would, please.
Yeah. So a stream stow is we do a 4-ship stream stow, or typically it was 2-ship. So Harrier Hornets, you see those guys will line up in parade formation like this on the runway.
They take off next to each other.
Sometimes they'll do 10-second go. So lead will go, and 10 seconds later, dash 2 goes, or they'll do a section go same time. Or you see the blue fairies do it. They do the diamond, the fingertip like this, and then the other guy over here, and then he underneath.
Four slides into the slot.
Four slides into the slot. So then they got the diamond. So Harriers, because of the way we took off and goofy with our weight turbulence and all the other nonsense, they did through all the studies. It was like 1,000 feet. Typically, you're going to be airborne by 1,000 feet. So we would, you do a stream stow, you do 4-ship, and dash last would get at the very end of the runway, 1,000 feet down, be 3. Another 1,000 and stagger on the runway. So, here's 4, here's 3, here's 2, here's 1. And then you go say I was a lead for a 4-ship, and that's the other thing in 203. You were really a division lead. You weren't a section lead leading another section. So when you're taking out a division of students, man, you were busy.
Oh, yes, you were.
I real quick, I'll digress real quick, but I had a student one time, we're coming into the break, we're going like 470 or something like that. I get everybody, I'm like, do the, he's over there.
Yeah.
They make
Get boards, cross under. Yep.
Yeah, there's 4 over there right now, and I'm about ready to break. And thank God, I go, there's -2 again.
Look, he crossed himself back under.
He was on the wrong side.
He just
You're going to break into him. Oh, my God.
Because it's hard looking right. It's hard looking right.
Thank God I looked, because I'd have just gone right into him. And I go, of course, we use a few epithets, but I depart and re-enter. Anyway, but it just stupid stuff students would do. So same stuff. So we're all on the runway staggered, and it'd be like discos rolling, go. And then as soon as you rolling, go, everybody's at full power. And so you'd see, if you were in the dash last, you'd see all these forward jets. You just see kind of a smoke cloud and dust from runway detritus and all that stuff. And all of a sudden you see bleep, all these forward jets just pop up out of the smoke, and then everybody's nozzling out. They're easing their nozzles back, gears coming up. When they get to a certain speed, flaps come up from stall to auto, and everybody kind of goes and eventually joins up. Lead turns in, and everybody kind of just slides into position.
It's pretty awesome.
It's a beautiful thing when done right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing too, is the Harrier accelerates so freaking fast. So as soon as you get off the ground and you hit those nozzles aft, I mean, it's like a kick in the ass, right?
Well, somebody told me. Well, actually, when you first go, because you're at, I think it was 10 degrees nozzles, if I remember right. When you
5 or 10, yeah, it was just cracked.
Full power. Somebody told me that an AV-8 can outrun F-15, F-18, F-16 to 300.
Oh, yeah, to 400.
To about 400 knots, and then those intakes are a great big speed break.
Yeah, that thing the whole thing's a speed break, but that thing could accelerate. I mean, the first time I got in it, because I was at Cherry Point, I went on my VT-26, my old T2 squadron came through there for the boat, and one of the instructors took me out in the back seat, and so we go full power in the T2. I'm going, is it going to accelerate anytime today?
Are we going to go?
Back when you were a T2 student, you were hanging on the tailplane. Just
stuff was happening fast, yeah.
Yeah, but you're in the AV-8, you're just going, this thing, it is basically like a cat shot in the T2. It is an amazing thrust of power initially.
I always estimated 3 to 4 Gs straight back.
Yeah, it was.
It.
Yeah, for a pilot, I tell people, for a pilot, it was the most fun airplane on the planet to fly. There's nothing more fun to do a vertical takeoff and pull that nose up 75 degrees, just keep going. It was like,
it's like the closest thing to to being an astronaut, a launch pad, right?
Yeah. I tell people
it's like the Atlas rocket taking off.
I tell people it's the most fun I ever had with my pants on, and it's true.
Yep, absolutely. In fact, Punky once told me, I asked him, you got to fly the Hornet, you got to fly the MiGs, you got to fly, he did the test pilot thing. To fly all these airplanes. What was the most fun? He goes, hands down, the Harrier. It's a stick and rudder airplane, not fly by wire. And it's just a beast of a jet to fly.
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome airplane.
All right, Disco. Kotex Mongoose.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll do that when I'll go to the toilet paper.
Yep.
So Mongoose would, it's kind of started off with Theodore Herman. Theodope, Mongoof, that guy, my CO. Anyway, he had that just jackass, ugly piece of shit BMW motorcycle. He just loves that thing. Every time he looks at it, he rubs one out in the corner. I'm like, really? It's the ugliest motorcycle on the planet. So one day he's gushing about how amazing my motorcycle is. I'm like, and when he spoke Spanish, he spoke it with the Castilian lisp. That time he's like, ¿Cómo está, señor? And I looked at him and went, you sound like a fag. So that went over really well. I didn't sugarcoat things. So anyway,
I find that hard to believe. First of all, I'm okay, but I'm going to deal with that.
I showed up to have fun. So anyway, he had that motorcycle out in the parking lot one day, and we're like, so I went to the exchange and I got a little plastic pink basket and little tassels for the handlebars. I got a little tiger tail with a flag on it, and I put all this shit on his motorcycle. And he was pissed. He was furious. And they knew who did it. He goes, he's really pissed off. And so I was still in
I
542.
can only see that. God, I would give anything to see that. Little streamers
but,
like little girls' 4th of July bicycle.
Yeah, he was so because I defiled his baby. And so I don't know, a couple of days later, he lets the air. I had that Honda 750 Magnum. He lets the air out on my tires. I'm like, so I'm like, okay, all right, fucker. So I go find a place. I had to go find, they bring the cart out. They pump my tire. The maintenance guys bring my car. I'm like, So now I'm in 203, and that's when he did that. I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this shit. He was the Group XO. And so the next day I go to Woody. I go, hey, what are you doing right now? He goes, nothing. I go, come on, let's go. So we get in my car. We go over to the exchange, and we're walking down in the ladies' lingerie, all the other shit that the ladies, the ladies section, FDS spray, saddles for your hootenanny, maybe a Kotex or two. So we go in there, and I get these two big. I mean, they're this big, like. There we go.
Couple feet,
giant.
This
boxes.
big, and there's probably no. It's just a big, huge plastic bag, and I think each one was 250. The little crotch saddles. The little elastic
maxi pads, mini pads.
Yeah, mini pads with the sticky strip on them.
With the wings.
In case you want to stick them to your panties. So anyway, we get 2 bags of those, and Woody's like, "What are we going to do with these?" I said, "Just shut up, let's go." So we go back to 203, and I grab one. And I actually grab both of them. I start walking across the street toward the group. And Woody's just kind of following me. And we walk around to the side, and I go,
wait a minute. Well, hold on a second. This is broad daylight, right?
This
is happening.
2 Marine captains walking along with.
Yeah, 2 captains. We got these big bags of Kotexes. I want one captain walking with these things. And so anyway, I just rip it open, and I start going, bang. Zzz. And Woody looks at me, he goes, oh, my God. You're going to do this? I go, yeah, I am.
Yeah, we're doing this.
We got enlisted troops walking out, and they're cracking up.
Oh, because
we put about 800 of those things all over Mongoose's. I think it was his wife's Honda Civic or whatever.
No.
Anyway, that night I go home. I'm at home, and I didn't. When I got home, there was a message on the. There was 2 messages on the. Back when we had answering machines, 2 messages on the answering machine. The first one was Colonel Kuzniewski, K9.
Yeah.
And he's like, Disco. That was shit hot. I know it was you. You're the only one that would be stupid enough and crazy enough to do something like that. He goes, it was awesome. Mongoose wanted to fucking kill you. And the next call was from Mongoose. And he's like, I'm going to kill you. I hate you. You're a piece of shit. And I'm listening to these messages. I'm going, it's a beautiful day.
So this was obviously before cell phones. Did you not get a picture of this? Because that would be.
I didn't. No.
Okay. So in my mind's eye, I'm seeing this BMW Enduro road bike motorcycle that's completely wallpapered in panty liners.
No, that was his car that I did.
Oh, his car.
His car. Yes. Yeah.
So his motorcycle was one of those ugly ass BMW, like 1962. It's got the horizontally opposed little gay.
Oh yes. Okay. It was a car okay.
It looks like the Wicked Witch of the West would ride it. It's just. I'm like, really? You think that's cool? That's not cool. That's just wrong in every level. So yeah, that was another Woody and Disco escapade. Woody got recruited to do some of my shit with me because I just was always looking for trouble. That's just the way it was.
There you go.
And by the time I got close to the end of my time in the Marine Corps, I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to have fun. If you don't like it, what are you going to do?
Right.
Well, you were kind of a dangerous animal at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, really. What are they going to do to you?
Yeah. I mean, they and I didn't realize, but they were kind of mad when I got out, just because even though they were trying to reduce manpower, the number of manpower in the Marine Corps, the Harrier community was short, and I had every qual, so that was your more quals you have, obviously the more valuable you are to them. Because I was just finishing up my FCF. Yeah, I was just finishing my FCF, so then when I got to Yuma, to go to WTI, they kind of wanted you to have all your quals when you showed up at WTI. So I was really excited about that prospect, but when I got that offer from Coca-Cola, I went, sometimes you have to use your head and not your emotions. So I made the other decision. So you guys have time because of the toilet paper.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
We got another time.
We're in great shape.
So the toilet paper. So we get back from, and I got sent back as the advanced party, which I didn't want to do, but I ended up getting. And that's when my wife and I got married in Cherry Point. And then you get to have my honeymoon because we got deployed immediately. we go back to Cherry Point on the advanced party for that, getting everything set up for the squadron again for, coming back to Cherry Point, North Carolina.
Hey, a quick question. When you guys deployed to Westpac, did you take your jets or did you guys swap out with somebody?
We took our jets there.
Okay.
When we came home, we left our jets there, and 231 left us. I think it was 231. Yeah, it was 231. Left us their shitty jets.
Right.
And
okay.
So our maintenance people were pissed when we got home. But I'll tell you what, Jimmy Lee, Rebel, Jimmy Lee, man, that guy, he's one of the best AMOs I've ever seen. That guy, our utilization rate and our number of jets that were up in the Persian Gulf War was like 90%. That guy had stuff getting maintained, repainted everything, all gray.
You guys were back. Were you guys the guys? Was 542 or 231 the ones that went basically from Westpac all the way to?
That was 231, I think.
It was 231. We were the because our it was a CRP combat readiness percentage. Is that what that was? The CRP numbers.
Yeah.
Ours, we had the highest ones at that time in the whole community because we just come from Westpac.
231 relieved you guys in Westpac.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So they took our jets. When we came back, we took their jets. But when we came back, because you're thinking, hey, we're untouchable for at least a year, blah blah blah, and the Marine Corps goes, oh no, you're in the Marine Corps. You're not in the Navy or the Air Force. You're the most highly trained Marines. You're going to Saudi Arabia. So the first units that were there were VMA 542, F-15s from Langley, one squadron, and a battalion landing team of Marines. So we were it. When we
where did you land in Saudi? Where?
We went to Sheikh Issa in Bahrain.
Sheikh Issa, okay.
Yeah, and we were flying combat. We were flying cap in the northern Persian Gulf, with winders on it, live winders on our jets. I'm going, what the hell do we do it here? And we had bombs. I mean, it was pretty dicey because we were kind of bluffing with the Iraqis not to come south of the border. Yeah. Because they thought we had more there than we actually did. Yeah. So anyway, we go over there, and I don't know, somewhere I'd read not too long before that, I think I read a book by Leon Uris or something. I read all the time. So I was reading this book and I went, the Saudis don't wipe their ass. They use water picks like you use on your teeth, but they use it for their ass and their left hand. You don't shake hands with a Saudi with your left hand. You shake with your right hand. Yeah. But you show them your feet to insult them and tell them their mom is ugly and she doesn't shave her biscuit. So anyway, there's my squadron, man.
There it is. Flying tag.
So Sticks put up the squadron VMA 542 logo. Yeah, and I've actually got something to talk about on that too.
That's the new one. That's the VMFA for the F-35s. So anyway, I got and I had a really good relationships because hey, my rules as I went through the Marine Corps was hey, if people I wanted to have in my circle of influence was hey, make friends, don't be a dick. That's kind of how I live. So the guys at S4 in the Marine Corps, the Marine Corps property, I had great friends over there with all the staff NCOs and all the enlisted guys. Anything I needed, I could get. I was like radar, man. If we needed it, I could get it. I'd figure out a way, or those guys would figure out a way to get it for me. Because when I left 542, when I left there, they got all these whiteboards. I got the CO, a brand new Marine Corps flag that says VMA, because he wanted the old one. I just got him all this stuff because I made friends over there. So when we're in this interim period between these two deployments, I went over there and said, hey, I need a 6-cube box, which is big. 6 by 6 by 6. I said, I want you to fill that thing full of shit paper. Nothing but shit paper. And they went, really? I said, just do it. So they load this thing full of shit paper. That's part of our pack-up to go to Saudi Arabia. We get over there, and we're there for a little bit of period of time. We have all this butt wipe. Nobody else in the theater has any shit paper. Nobody. And we don't have any vehicles because we're the Marines. So we don't have anything. We do everything. We build our own tents. We build this. We build that. We dig our own straddle trenches, put up our, all that crap. Then the Air Force shows up. It's a Seymour Johnson F-4 Phantom Wild Weasel Squadron. There are 1,200 people in this.
1,200 people in the squadron.
In this squad, it was just this massive amount of people in this support. They had these incredibly huge. They poured these huge concrete pads. They put these double-walled tents, HVAC units on them. And for us, it was 1950s era Korean War GP tents. And if you want air conditioning, you roll them up.
Yeah,
and then we were on the dirt. We were living on the dirt, but we put everything up. So we were stealing the Air Force plane. So anyway, you got all these Air Force guys, and they had 25 or whatever Humvees. Yeah. And we didn't have anything, and we needed because we had a flight line, we had maintenance, we had our billeting, we had all this stuff. Everybody's walking everywhere. I'm like, this fucking sucks. It licks the pouch. me put it that way. So, so anyway, we're doing all this stuff. And then one day I'm sitting here, and I got my bag unzipped down just above my belly button, you know. Got my fly naked shirt, green one on from the Philippines underneath there. You can see it, you know, kind of showing through.
Yeah.
And I got those little expeditionary discs, those little pieces of shit that are, you know, like 1.5 by 1.5 with little swing down arms. That poke
Yes.
Like
Yes.
card tables with.
And then,
Yes.
of course, it's not a chair, so I made a chair from MRE boxes and duct tape because that's what we do in the Marine Corps. So I'm sitting in there in my tent, man. I'm sweating like a pig. I got my flight. Actually, I had my flight suit wrapped around my waist, so that's why you can see my fly naked. Got my feet on my desk, and these 4 Air Force officers walk in, 2 majors, 2 captains, flight suit zipped up to here, the little hats on their heads. And they walk in and they go, "You going to stand for the majors?" I go, "Nah, probably not today." And I'm looking at them, and they go, "Well, you know, it's disrespectful." I said, "Well, you're in my world, so no." Is the answer.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me, and they don't say anything, and they finally go, "Hey, we hear you have toilet paper." I go, "I got a shitload of toilet paper." So we get this back and forth, and they're just thinking, "Hey, we're going to just ask you for some. You're going to give it to us." I went, "Let me walk you through the way things work around here. You're talking to a Marine. We're like a hooker. We don't do anything for free. There's a price for everything. If you want to see the biscuit, you got to decorate the mahogany, bitch. You got to put some money on the table."
Right.
I said, "So what do you guys have?" And they go, "Well, you know, we can get you this, we can get you that." And I said, "You know what I really need?" I said, "I really need a Humvee." And they go, "We're not going to get you a Humvee." And I go, "Well, you're not going to be able to wipe your ass in either. That's the way it works." I said, "I know you guys."
That's the way of the world, bro.
Yeah, I already talked to your guys. I go, "I know you guys got 25 or whatever. It was some ridiculous number of Humvees. I'll tell you what. I got a buttload of really talented Marines. You guys get me a Humvee. We're only going to be here for another 3 months. I will bring that thing back to you, and I'm not kidding you. I'll take care of it. It'll be look like it's brand new. We'll PM it. We'll take care of it. We won't scratch it, and we'll get it back to you like it's brand new. But if you want to wipe your ass, I'm going to have a Humvee. And that's my final offer. I got a Humvee."
Yeah, you
And
did.
they got
Right, you did.
So I had a Humvee. I drive it up to our squadron headquarters, and Mongoose is there. He's looking at me. He says, "U.S. Air Force" on the side. He goes, "Is that for me?" I went, "Fuck no, Skipper." I said, "This is mine."
Get your own damn Humvee.
Is that for
And he looks
you?
at me and he goes, "You're a son of a bitch." And I said, "I'll tell you what, Skipper." I said, I'm just laughing. You know, I go, "I'll tell you what." I go, I got it for the squadron. He goes, "How'd you get it?" I said, "Just don't worry about it. I just got it." I go, "We have it for the rest of the time we're here. It's for the whole squadron. So it's for log runs. It's for maintenance. It's for whoever. But we got to take care of it. So I'm going to go talk to maintenance. I'm going to find a couple guys. I'm going to go talk to the maintenance officer and say, hey, we got to take care of this thing because I made a promise to these gay uniform wearing zipper high Air Force.
Ascot wearing.
Yeah, and I said, I promised them I'm going to be good for my word, and I was able to get it. He goes, "I don't know how you get these stuff." I said, "I can get anything. I just know how to. Just have to learn how to communicate."
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how I got I got a Humvee, and I got it for shit paper. So I just remember that. I'm like, God, that was beautiful.
Hey, that is a great story, and I can't stop. I mean, I want to come back to this because this kind of. I mean, it's a good comparison. So you deployed with a Harrier squadron to Saudi Arabia. How many people in the squadron?
Oh,
how many total?
Roughly 3. So that was the interesting thing too, because all of a sudden, never the whole time. Back in the day, it was a 20 jet squadron. I don't think any squadron in Cherry Point had more than 15, 18 pilots.
Right.
Now. They had enough to man up based on TO, but everybody was, had shitty little job officer. This guy's at the group, this guy's at the wing, this guy's over here, this guy's over there. So you had to donate all these people, or the shitbirds of the squad. That was the thing too I learned from flight school is just because you have your wings doesn't mean you have success.
Doesn't mean you get to fly.
Now you got to get to the rag, and then you have to be able to survive.
Get to go be the mayor of Vogue Field.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good segue. Let's talk about that for a second because you're spot on, and I'm glad you brought that up. I explain this to guys all the time. When you say, so you make it through all the widgets, you actually get through the Harrier training squadron, and you get to your fleet squadron, and they find out you're a douchebag. What happens to guys like that, Disco?
Well, I mean, typically 15 to 20% of the people don't make it through their first tour. So they can't do a ground job and fly, or they can't fly because they're doing their ground job and they just don't measure up, or they can't get their shit together, or they piss people off and they just don't get along with people or something like that. And then next thing you know, that guy's going on a fact tour and you never see him.
Or what else? Right. First of all, what's a fact tour? Say what a fact tour is.
Forward air controller. And it's actually a career enhancing tour. But
sure
if you do it right.
Yeah,
right. But nobody wants to do it because you're out of the cockpit.
Right.
And if you're brand new in the cockpit. So the thing that you when you have retrospect, you look back on your time in the Marine Corps, you realize just because you think you're all that in a bag of chips when you get your wings. And then you show up at the RAG and we had tried it maybe when I was an instructor for 2 years, we tried it like 4 people. So, it's a 10%-ish, something like that. They don't even make it through the RAG. They just can't fly the airplane. They just can't do it. And for their own safety or just because they can't get along with people, it's like, hey, you're gone. You're out of here. Yep. But then there's another thing. You get to a gun squadron, and I saw people in gun squadrons. They'd be there for 6 months, and all of a sudden they're gone. And maybe they did something stupid. Right. They almost crashed a jet by being an idiot.
Where would they go? Disco. Where does somebody
they usually get transferred? Like there was a guy, I don't like to say his name, but he punched out of 2 jets in 542. Uh-huh. And I went to some class when I was brand new in the squadron. I show up and he's got a 542 patch on. He's like, well, and I mean, everybody in the squadron said that guy is the biggest dipshit. So what he basically was he was a SLJO.
Shitty little jobs officer.
Shitty little jobs officer. Thank you.
They just found shit for him to do while he was still obligated to the Marine Corps.
Yeah, to keep him from flying jets and hurting somebody, right?
And they needed somebody to do some scut work that nobody else wanted to do, so they found scut work for him to do. Right. And so, as a forward air controller tour, or you go to the wing and you're the assistant opso at the wing, which means you do nothing.
Rifle range safety.
You go to lunch every day. If you're lucky, some squadrons will give you 1 hour a month, so you're barely safe, or they'll give you 2 hours a month.
Right.
So you never really, but nobody wants you in a gun squadron. They don't want you there because you're incompetent, stupid, can't get along, or you're just irritating. So that's just the way it is.
Which begs the question: how about the guys that couldn't get along, were incompetent, stupid, and irritating, and managed to stay in the gun squadrons? Those are the ones that drove you nuts.
Yeah, and when I got to 542, it was a weird environment when I got there, because I never really experienced anything like that. And based on my experience in the infantry, the leadership in the unit, I was like, what is wrong with this place? You guys are just, they ate their young, they treated people like shit, especially the JOs.
Yeah.
And we basically, as Tom Rutledge and I sat down one day, and as we started people started moving out of the squadron, when new guys would come in, we would grab them initially and pull them off aside and sit them down and say, here's how this place runs. Here's what we're trying to do to change the culture, because the culture is beyond sick here. It needs to be fixed. And that also it helped because we had a change of command at the top and it started trickling down. We got Dog, Wade Straw, awesome dude. He was amazing. Hey, motherfucker, you know what? I like being a colonel because now that I'm a colonel, that means that many more people's face I can rub my balls all over.
Vapor had some great dog stories.
He was amazing. Dog was just, I don't know how many times he'd laugh like this. I don't know how many times I'd sit down with that guy and I'd be in hysterics. I mean, he was so funny and fun to be around. I mean, he was a ball. He's a ball, but yet he didn't gamble with him. Pisser cleaned him out so many times. It was unbelievable. Oh man!
All right.
Dog wanted to kill Pisser.
All right. Well, so hang on. So there we go. There's a call sign there, Pisser, and we're hoping to get him on. But go over his call sign story, and then I'm going to ask you to go over yours. I don't know yours. It may be disappointing. Hey, but
listen, I'm sorry. I got to apologize. I checked out just for a second. I came back and I heard Pisser. So, but before you go into the call signs, these guys, Pisser and Disco, were on the cover of Time Life magazine.
Yes, they were.
No, we weren't on Time Life. We were actually featured in People magazine.
Oh, was it People? I thought it was Time.
Yeah, and the reporter was a smoke show. Her name was Maria Wilhelm.
Okay, let's come back to that.
She wore perfume, and I hadn't smelled perfume and seen a woman in I don't know how many months. I was like,
of course. Yeah.
You're like a dog. You're like a dog.
Yes.
Like a buck, going. So let me tell you. So this
Right.
the day of that interview, I'm going to tell you a pisser story. So I don't remember. We're flying a mission. So we talked to him a little bit in the morning. The photographer, I swear to God, he was based on. Actually, do you remember Dennis Hopper in Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now, when he was the photographer.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy that was the photographer, I think Dennis Hopper was based on this guy. His name was Ken Regan. I mean, he's like, it's a great day, man. It's a beautiful day, man. I mean, he was just like him.
Just like that.
And I think I even asked him, I said, you remind me of Dennis Hopper in Apocalypse Now. And he said, they based his character on me, man. And I'm not surprised. So anyway, this guy, we met him in the morning. We did all this stuff. You know, they just kind of grabbed us. We were getting briefed. In fact, that picture I sent you, repeat, where Pisser and I are briefing, it looks like. You see both our backs? That was Ken Regan taking a picture while we were briefing that morning. We're going,
oh, sweet.
We look over our shoulders and go, who are you? Go away. You know, leave us alone. We're busy. We're about to go fly a mission. So we did a pit turn mission that day. So we get up airborne. We're going on a hot target. It's one of the airfields in Kuwait. I think there were 3, if I remember right. I don't remember which one it was. But anyway, Mike and I go up there, and we're I don't know, 17 to 20,000 feet. So you're above most of AAA and the man pads. So we go there. We see I can't remember. We found our target, or maybe it was a kill box or something like that. So we're in there in combat spread, and Watashi-san was the idiot that was going in first. So, and we could actually can't. It's so flat out there. The camo nets, the desert camo nets.
Yeah.
Well, they just stick up. It's like it looks like a wart over there. Let me guess what that is. There's a bunch of cocksuckers underneath there right now, looking up at us. So I roll in and I come down and and we had rock eye at 4-second delay. Well, you didn't get any. I mean, the Marine Corps didn't pay for the algorithms for the symbology until you got to. I can't remember what the altitude was.
Yeah, it was way down into the Wes before you got symbology.
Yeah. So anyway, you see everybody taking your picture. You go, wait a minute, that's not everybody taking my picture. Those are muzzles pointing at me, shooting. It looks like all these little flash bulbs going on. Yeah. And everybody's shooting at your ass. And so you're going, fuck this. So I'm going down and I don't have any symbologists. You're just kind of swagging. You just, it's the TLAR, that looks about right, system. And you're kind of going, and all of a sudden symbology comes up, you kind of fix it, kind of fine tune everything. You're on government time. Everybody's shooting at you. Now you're predictable, not a good place to be at low altitude. So I drop my ordnance, and it's a nice hard 6G pull, and I don't know I bottom out at, I don't know, whatever we're between 65 and 8,000 feet. So you're in the band, baby. Heart
of the envelope.
Yeah. So I'm coming up, and I'm doing the funky chicken. About every 6 seconds, I'm just moving the jet. And you're doing a double negative. You're trying to climb and put G on the airplane and maneuver it to keep from getting shot down. You don't have a lot of G capability. Yeah. So it's just like you're doing one of these things just hoping you survive. I don't know what's going on. And there's nothing but silence on the radio. So I'm climbing up, and I'm with the urinator. We're climbing up, and all of a sudden I know I'm out of I'm like about 20,000 feet. I'm like, okay, that was good. And I didn't see anything. A lot of times you'd see stuff going by like this. You see the tracer, as it goes by you, even during the day, because now you're seeing the absent of that round and that nice glowing end as it goes by you. Nighttime was sucked, because then you could see everything. Look at the little butterflies floating up toward me. And so anyway, all of a sudden, Numbnuts goes, whoa. And I'm like, whoa, what? He says, Disco, that was awesome. I go, what was awesome? He said, dude, every time, when you came off target, man, all this stuff just opened up around you. You were surrounded by AAA. It was right behind your jet. And just about the time it get to you, you jink. And then it kind of get swing back and it start following you again, and then you jink again. And then he goes, it was amazing. And I went,
what?
Why didn't you say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what?
And it was silence. And he goes, oh. And I said, when we get on the ground, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to shoot your ass with my 9mm. I swear to God, I'm going to kill you. So anyway, he rolls in. He goes down. He's dash 2, so now they know he's coming.
Sure.
So I'm watching the show, and I'm just going, oh, my God. I mean, he is surrounded by AAA. He comes off target, same thing, but I'm going, break left, break right, go left, go down, go up, do this, do that, because I could see it following him. Yeah. And just before it get to him, I'm like, you need to go left, break left. Okay, go down, reverse, go right. I mean, it's like this snake of flashbangs just following him around until it finally stopped. And I said, man, when we get on the ground, I am going to fucking kill you. So we get on the ground, and we were laughing about it. After we took like 10 steps, but I'm just going. Actually, we did a pit turn, and we talked on the radio, and I'm like, you motherfucker. I was cussing him out. We went in and did another mission. We came back, and, as we get out of our jets, we kind of look at each other. We start cracking up like, hey, we made it. This is good. This is a good day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But so Mike got his, I'll tell you a pistol story from Korea.
This is a great one.
So we're in some, and you go to these little bars in Korea, and there's the mama san, there's all the girls and all that stuff around. We're drinking beer and all that. And then I go in to take a piss, and there's a guy in there fanning your ass with it, to try and get a tip. I'm like, hey, don't fan my ass. Get away from me. Man, I don't want to breeze in my crack. Get out of here. So I'm up there, and it's the pig trough. You're like, and I got my half inch, I got my 1.2 inches of dangling fury. And I'm taking a leak there in the trough, and all of a sudden, Pisser stands up next to me, and he just starts backing up. And he just backs up, and he backs up. And now it's hitting the wall, and it's splashing on me, and I'm kind of moving sideways. And he's 15 feet from the freaking urinal, and he's got his schlong. He does this little thing.
Hold on. I want to stop here.
Yeah.
That is not an exaggeration.
No, it's not.
This dude,
it's not.
No.
This dude could piss over a car.
Oh, yeah. Well,
He can piss across the street.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hold on.
I got two.
Keep
So the other
going.
The other one, Pisser and I are in Kunsan.
Well, wait. Finish this. Finish the
finish
trough.
this one.
You're standing at the trough.
He's just pissing there, and I'm like going, hey, you're getting me wet. He's just laughing. He's just cracking up. I'm like, fucker, I'm going to kill you. I think we were actually in Kunsan. So we met all these it was the Pantons and the Juvets, F-16 guys, great guys, fun dudes.
Yeah.
And so we're in there with these guys, and we're kind of talking, and we're drinking, being stupid, getting getting smarter by the minute. And so anyway, these guys are talking shit, and I go, hey, all right, monkeys. I said, I bet you I can get him. You go out and pick any car out in the street you find, and he's going to piss over it. And if he does, you're buying us beer for the rest of the weekend. So man, it's 40 people go piling outside. All these F-16 guys with little mama son girlfriends. Me and Pisser, and I think it was in the Econoline van, the only one in Korea. Mike stands at the back of it, he does this little magic trick where he pulls a little bit to the right side, and all of a sudden, and he clears the entire Econoline van. And the Air Force guys are like,
Is it?
they're going nuts, and we're drinking beer for the rest of the weekend.
Is it over? Is he doing it over the
He does that
shoulder?
too. This was a forward shot. Now the one he did over his shoulder was at a hail and farewell from 542. So I think it was when I was leaving 542, or it was at a hail and farewell. And we're at somebody's house. I think we're at Ragu's house up in New Bern.
Okay.
And also I'm talking to somebody, and then I see one of the wives, and then I see two of the wives, and then I see a couple guys, and I'm going, what the hell's going on? And I walk outside, and there's a swing set in the back with the bar, and the bar's like 8 feet off the ground. Right. And there's Mike with his back to to all of us, and he's doing an over the shoulder boulder holder. He's pissing over the bar over his shoulder.
No.
And all the wives are going, and then they start cheering. So he would do that. He'd throw up in his hand and eat it.
No.
Yeah, and sometimes when he'd pee like that, he'd shit his pants. And the other thing was he'd take his and he'd sit there, he'd be talking to me, he goes, hey, Jessica. I go, yeah. He goes, hey, I shit my pants. I'm like, don't tell me that.
TMI, baby.
go clean thyself, or God will not like you. So anyway,
Oh my God. No.
But yeah, he would just do. He was the dog tags in and out the nose and the mouth.
Right.
Yep.
So Mike was like
the nasal floss. Yep.
Yeah, it was a nonstop circus show.
Yeah, he was a total circus animal, but he was awesome to have with the squadron. He really was.
Yeah.
He got we had Sal and.
Were you there with the Longapo?
Oh, they painted my fingernails and long. That's the other thing those fuckers did. You guys never knew the wildebeest? She was famous in Westpac. They got her nail polish, and Earl Anderson crashed and died. He had a hypoxia and he crashed going through the speed of sound into the water. Brad DeVries was with him. He saw the whole thing. We lost a guy over there. And so that night we're having a wake, and the next morning I wake up and I go to my bathroom, pasty mouth, cardigan sweater on my tongue, and I got I'm washing my hands, and there's a little red dot right here, and I'm going,
What is that?
Yeah, and I go like this, and I got bright red fingernail polish on my fingernails. And I went, and they're both done. Those bastards, when I was passed out, painted my fingernails.
Both hands.
Fucking killed
Both
me.
hands.
Yeah, so I found, so we had this little kitchenette between the rooms. So I'm in there digging for stuff. I find a pizza slicer. So for the next hour, I'm like, and then they show up at my room. I think I'm about halfway done. They show up at my room, like, knock, 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 knock. And I look at my people, and there's Pisser, Turbo, Rosie, and a couple of the other JOs. And open the door, I'm like, fuck you guys. Bam. And they're like, I'm telling you, man, by the time we kind of had this transition in 542, it was by far the best squadron on the street. I mean, we had the best people. We had the most fun. It's just a great
yeah.
Oh my God, it was unreal. But yeah, we went to Westpac. I mean, we went to the Gulf War. Man, we got raw gear that fast on all the airplanes. We were manned up, full TO, everything. And then, as we were kind of in this waiting period, we started sending guys back home. So we got to below TO, but we picked up a couple other cats and dogs like Calvin Klein, Dennis Haas. We picked up a few other people that flew with us during the conflict itself. But great squadron to be in, man. It was so
That's
awesome.
awesome.
And then there was Vapor with his rope and his musk gland musking the girls. He was famous.
Wait.
Whoa.
Wait, just
hold,
a minute.
this is new.
We don't know anything
Vapor
about
neglected to mention this to us.
Vapor didn't say anything about a rope.
No, Vapor rubbed all the skin off of his toes in the Philippines. I walked in our room because we had this room. We had two bunk beds in this room. So it was because they were rebuilding all this stuff in staff NCO quarters in the Philippines. And literally what we did, because you could get a case of beer. I think it was $1.25. I'm not kidding you. So we went in. It was me, Pisser, Rosie, I think, and Vapor was the guys in my room. And that's a bad combo. It's a bad combo. There's no adults in there. So we went to the package store and we look at the prices. We said, how much for the pallet? We bought a pallet of beer, brought it back on a pallet jack to our room, carried it in, broke it all down, carried it in, stacked it. We had a pallet in the middle of our room with beer. So I walked in one day and looked around the pallet, and Vapor's on the top bunk. I think he had 3 little Filipino girls up there with him.
No.
And he's just going, Vapor was in heaven.
No wonder he neglected to tell us.
Oh.
You knew things were good for Vapor because you knew Vapor, you look over in the corner, Vapor would have this look on his face. Like that. And he'd have his hand on a girl's back and he's going like this. We called it his musk gland. And he's musking her and we're going, half an hour from now, she's going to be naked. It was a clown show, man. It was just hilarious.
What's with the rope?
Vapor's rope. Vapor, we made fun of he was very willing to show what he had. Especially as he got lit up, he would, drop his pants. Like one time I was filming with my camcorder and he had this weird look on his face. I'm like, what's he doing? And when he's just like shaking it. He's got his pants down. He's shaking his rope at me. And we just call it rope because it ain't long, but it sure is skinny. So anyway, we always refer to Vapor's rope, and we all still joke around about it. It's just, it was. I'll tell you, man, it was a freaking.
No wonder he wasn't willing to.
No wonder he forgot to mention that.
Yeah. So, Vapor's going to have to come back and refute all
and
this.
Defend
his honor.
Musk gland and his rope.
Yeah. Right.
He's a great. We had, like I said, we had amazing people in that squad.
You know what? I gotta agree.
Oh God, I just look back. That's what I said. I look back on my experience at that time in my life. And I just went, how could I have been so fortunate and so blessed to have been there at that time? It was just, all the bad times, all that stuff. Whatever. Forget. But you got to look at, when I look at the good parts, the blessings, the experiences. Holy crap. You can't buy that kind of experience at all. And then you get to fly a Harrier. Come on, are you kidding me?
Right.
It's like, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It was the best thing going. It's like, woohoo! Yeah, this is awesome, man.
So, All right. So now you got to regale us with disco. How'd you get disco?
Oh, so anyway, when I was in college, I did what I did in high school. I got back. When I was in high school, I got back into doing a theater production. And I was, as a kid, you guys won't believe this, but I was actually shy at one point. in my life. I got over it. So I was like, I am not getting on stage. I'm not doing this. But they were always having a hard time getting guys to do it. And I got talked to them. I'm like, fine, okay, I'll do it. And I did it. And it was, they say it's the roar of the crowd, the smell of the grease paint. So I actually had a pretty good time. So all through high school, I did it. Then I got to university, and I just decided one day, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna audition for this play. So I auditioned for Dial M for Murder, and I got a part. So all through, I know it sounds very gay, and there was a lot of theater faggots, and they're just so fun. So. Now you can wonder how I could do that. I was around a lot of, not that there's anything wrong with that. It doesn't make you bad, just gives you bad breath. So anyway, so I did theater all the way through college. And then as I was going there, they was like, you need to learn how to sing, you need to learn how to dance. So I'm like, okay. So I took some dance classes, and the lady that had a studio in San Luis Obispo so I took one at the university, and then she says, hey, I want you to come and be at my studio, and I'm going to put you on scholarship. And so I was like, okay. So I went there a couple of times. There were 7 guys. There were 4 that were gay, 3 of us that were straight. And there were 300 women. And these were dancers. And
enough said. I like the odds already.
They had feet on one end and a biscuit on the other. It was perfect. This perfect set of legs, and just gorgeous girls. And I went, I'm the smartest guy in the room. So I did that. And then what I think what got me in trouble, and I kind of stopped after college and stuff, but what it got me in trouble was at the end of OCS, I don't know if you did it too, when at the end of OCS, you get your commission, now you get a staff roast. So now the second lieutenants get to roast the staff.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to partake in any of that.
Yeah. So anyway,
PLCs didn't do that.
I kind of did it, a little bit of a dance and acting number that just and it wasn't like, it was just it was funny. And I fried Gladstone and Staff Sergeant Smith. And so and the staff was in hysterics with the exception of those 2.
I wonder why.
Oh my God. So they walk up to me, and I'm a second lieutenant now. They walk up to me after that and they're like, think you're pretty funny, don't you? I go, yeah, actually I do. So that kind of followed me. And at TBS, at the end, we did our thing, and I put a little thing together with a bunch of guys, and it was really fun and funny. And so it kind of followed me. People knew that I had a little bit of a background, but I didn't really talk about it. I just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So I get to 203, and one of the guys in my class knew that I'd had that background, and he goes, "You guys know that Begulin used to be a disco dancer?" And then I went,
"Oh shit!"
Oh boy!
So that's how it stuck. I just was like, "Okay,
disco." Yep.
Yeah, perfect. And then after a while, I went, whatever, it's cool. But that's Pisser got his call sign that way. I mean, everybody gets their calls. Some guys pick theirs. Yep. I didn't pick mine. It just kind of slowly followed me and showed up, but. It is what it is, man.
Same. Yeah.
I
just wear it, man. I just wear it.
I mean, it is. It is what it is. You fight.
Kiss my lily white ass.
The more you fight, the more it sticks.
So, I know. My reaction the first time was like, "You're done. You're baked." So I gave Banjo his call sign because he was going. He was going by Shiloh or some freaking goofy thing like that.
Yeah.
And I walked into his. Because we went through the rag together, and so I walked into his room, and he's sitting there. He's got his coveralls on. He's got one thing hanging down. He didn't have a shirt on. I'm looking at him. I'm going, "No, man, your name's Banjo. Look at you. You look like an inbred from North Georgia."
Right.
And it's stuck.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh yeah, totally. Because he plays the band. He's a really good musician. And then when we went through the rag all the time, I mean, God, Bob's a good guy. He's a great guy. He's really a good dude. You can get him to talk fast enough on the radio.
Right.
Well, I think we're going to ease on over to there, and when we get there, we might do something.
Yeah.
But I'm already there because
right.
150 nights.
Right.
Yeah, good dude.
Okay, we've been talking a long time. I don't want to stop, but I got a couple questions to ask you.
All right, man. Bing, 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 bing. That's the guy.
Oh my gosh, there's Banjo right there.
That's Bob Paraban right there. That's him.
So, you got a lot of flying time. You got a lot of flying time in the Harrier, and you got combat time in the Harrier in the first Gulf War, the big one, the one that we won. Did you ever have your hand on the ejection seat handle? Ever? Did you ever think this is it? Did you ever scare the shit out of yourself?
Well, hang on. Let me ask before. Was this the one you were going to cover in the extra?
Yeah, let me tell you another one. It's another pistol story. I'll save that one for.
So we're going to do the extra for the Patreon and the financial donators, and that's what we'll bring to that. The ejection.
Beast.
I love that thing, man.
European
I get wet looking at it. It was so much fun.
Look at that.
So let me tell you
picture of a Harrier for those listening.
Story. Mike and I are flying to Osan Air Force Base from Japan.
Okay.
We're on our way across, going through Whiting West and all that kind of nonsense. And Mike just got a brand new camera. He gets a brand new camera. He's like, hey, Disco, you're this. I'm like, okay. So he asked me what he wants me to do. And we have drop tanks on, so we're heavy and we're high altitude. You know, and the AV-8 is, it's. I mean, when it's heavy and you're high altitude, it does not. It's a safe if you don't do things just right.
Yep.
So anyway, we're flying along, and he goes, "Hey, I want you to do this for me." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do anything." So he asked me to go up over the top, inverted like this, and stop, and he's going to take a picture of me. And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I go, "Yeah, I can do that." You can see where this is going.
I know where this is going.
You can see where this is going.
Yeah.
So I do that, and so same energy state. I mean, this is just basic physics. Same energy state. Bleed energy, bleed energy, bleed energy, bleed energy, bleed energy, bleed energy, no energy, and I get right.
And now you're inverted over him.
And now I'm inverted, but I'm not quite. I'm just like a little angle like this. And in the AV-8, it's bad enough flying right side up because it's heavily wing loaded. It's upside down. The wing just goes, I don't think so today. So all of a sudden, the airplane.
If you had another guess,
it just starts doing. It's a gun safe with a lot of guns in it. And it's just going coming straight down, and I'm in my cockpit, and I'm looking. And the picture's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, he's got both hands on the camera. By the way, right?
Yeah,
he's got both hands on the camera. He's looking straight.
Yeah, he just goes, "Wow, great picture." After the whole thing was over, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care if it's a good picture or not." So I'm in here, and I'm wiping the cockpit out, and I'm getting nothing. And I'm just stop to stop, and I'm screaming bloody murder, and my face is like this because I'm looking at him. I'm like, like a little kid. Yeah. And I get down where I'm coming right at him, and my plane's a little bit in front of his. I'm thinking this is that time compression thing. It seems like it's 4 minutes, but it's 10 seconds. And all this stuff's going through my head. Oh my God, I'm going to kill him. Okay, wait, there's going to be 2 jets at the bottom of the ocean here. I'm going to survive. He's not going to survive. I'm going to kill one of my friends. All this stuff's going through my head. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you. It's a God thing. Somebody just goes, push the rudder. And I pushed full rudder pedal. I don't remember which side it was. I think it was probably this side. So it was probably right rudder. And my airplane literally rudder rolled around his airplane. And I was so close. I was so close to him. It knocked his airplane off altitude hold.
The wake of your airplane go by knocked it off altitude.
I literally went like this in the cockpit, full rudder. I went and I kind of did one of these. I just hunched up like that.
Yeah, like you're bracing for impact, right?
Yeah, I
you can't eject because you'll eject into him.
Yeah, I can't do anything yet. Yeah. So anyway, my airplane just goes. I don't know what happened. I just remember I just was like, and all of a sudden I'm like, I go like this, and I kind of do this. So I grab the stick and I look up, and I'm just kind of back here. I'm below him now, maybe 500, 600 feet. I'm just like, you're doing one of those, and I don't know how long it was, but finally, Disco goes, Disco, hey Disco. That's how Disco talks. Hey Disco. And I go, what? And he goes, I know that. I haven't said anything. And I go, dude, you have no idea how close you just got to dying. He goes, yeah, you know what? The airplane knocked me off. Got a great picture. I'm just going, shut up.
Well, tell me you have that picture today. Tell me you have that.
Mike probably does. But I was just like, oh my God, I almost killed him. Such an idiot. Why did I do that? What the hell was I thinking? Oh, what a stupid ass.
It was a bad idea at the time.
Oh. Anyway,
we've got several show titles out of this. It was a gun safe with a lot of guns. This is a good one. Grateful.
Yeah, wanted to kill him. Didn't want to kill him. Wanted to kill him. Didn't want him to piss on my back. He pissed on my back. Pissed over the bar. Didn't get peed on there. Dog saying, dog. Oh God, dog was funny. Funny dude. Anyway, yeah. So I'll tell you guys. The Norway story. That's the one where I had that ejection handle in my hand.
Okay.
Yeah, baby. And I was brand new in the squadron. Brand new.
Yeah. Okay. So that's in the extra.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? We've been going, just shy of 2 hours.
We've been going a long time.
Yeah, baby. So it's probably time we land this. But oh my God, has this been fun? You have got to come back because I can tell you're about 10% of the way through your stories.
Come on, dude. I know. Yes. Will you come back? Because you know, like Lawman had 5 shows for fuck's sake. You can at least have 2.
Yeah.
He is a funny guy. Lawman is a fun. Lawman could do 5. Lawman could do 5 more shows.
Yeah.
You know his badge number. I know his badge number. 2676. I used to have his old bicycle. Yeah, from Japan. I bought his bicycle from him in Japan.
You had his Benjo bomber. Oh, that's what the lock number was. He made his lock that number, right?
2676. That was his old Arizona State Trooper badge number.
And that's what he made the combo lock for the bike, right?
There you go. I think it was. Yeah.
Beautiful. So,
It's a good dude.
Well, since you're a 542 Marine, before we start landing the airplane, I got to show you this too. So, Brad Silcott from BDS Aviation Photography he takes amazing pictures, but one of the pictures he took was of a 542 jet, and I have up on the live stream video right now a Japanese kanji.
Yeah.
And so I asked my nephew, who happens to read and write and speak Japanese, I go, what is this? He goes, it means tiger, but it could also mean drunkard. In a rare context. People would read it as tiger unless it was clear it was being used as otherwise. Definitely not the same interconnectedness as ass in English. So he was trying to compare it to donkey and ass. It could mean ass, jackass, or donkey. This means tiger or drunkard. Quite appropriate. And that's on the side of the 542 jets.
Yeah, it was, the history of the squadron, I guess a night fighter attack squadron in the Second World War, like 1943-ish. Yeah, great history to the unit. Yeah, very much so.
They're second only to VMA 223 as being probably the best,
Such a gay squadron.
I know. What?
The best squadron with the best logo.
Yeah.
It is a cool logo.
Yeah.
It was a cool
Drawn
logo.
by Walt Disney himself.
Yep, that was a very cool logo.
Yeah. So are we going to wrap this up and then come back and do extras?
We're going to do an extra for those who go to Patreon, sotherawas.us/Patreon or sotherawas.us/donate and spend their hard-earned money on us. We're going to have some exclusive extra content for you at those websites.
This is the Do You Have a Sister story. Just kidding.
Yes.
You know, I've had a hell of a core workout already, and I know it's going to get even better. Now listen, like we tell all of our guests, especially ones that have great stories. When we're done, 30 minutes from now, you're going to think of 10 more stories. Would you just write down the bullets of them?
Yes, I will.
So, because I know you're an old bastard, you don't forget that shit.
Yeah, son of a bitch, kids. Back when I had teeth. Yeah.
Those pesky kids.
Right, exactly.
Oh, Lordy.
Well, hey, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service, Marine. We appreciate your service.
Hey, man, it was fun to serve with you guys. It was awesome. It was a blessing to get to do it. No doubt about it. It was a lot of fun. Great time. Great time.
And this is
everybody should be so lucky. Everybody should be so lucky.
I mean, we have lived blessed lives.
Oh yeah,
and
pay that price. I mean,
you're right.
You do pay a price, but everybody should be so lucky to get to have those experiences, man. Because you can't. One, you couldn't pay for them, and two, you'd never be stupid enough to put a check on the table. I ain't doing that shit. Yeah, so
right. Ain't that the truth?
Chase says 542 is retired. The Japanese Tiger no longer flies it on the F-35.
Yeah,
it
was on the panel on our. We had a Mongoose pictured himself and imagined himself as a great, a scholar warrior. So he put on his airplane when we were over in Saudi Arabia. He put Bobby Aka, which was the name of El Cid's horse. And of course, all of us were like going, Bob Euchre, isn't that the name of El Cid's horse's ass? And he would just, of course, he'd correct us and yell and scream at us and tell us what a bunch of Philistines and all that crap we were. But we kept, and it's like pulling a string. He always took the bait, man.
Yeah. Push the button. get the response. We know what we're doing here. Push the button.
Warning, warning, warning. Fire, fire. never fail. All right, fellas.
All right. Well, let's land this plane. So thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, guys. It was a blessing.
Fantastic. And thank you to all who have served and are currently serving, and to their families who sacrifice time away from mom, dad, brother, sister at birthdays and anniversaries and funerals. It's a big sacrifice, and your sacrifice helps our service members do their job, and we're grateful to you as well.
Big thank you to Dave Hamilton, Backbeat Media.
Yep. Backbeatmedia.com handles our advertising. So if you have a show and you want advertising, reach out to them, see if they can't help you out.
Now, Disco, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but we have a merch store.
Oh, you do?
So there I was, .us/merch. We have a bikini, T-shirts.
Yeah. You got to get your bride in one. You don't get to wear one.
You guys have a thong for going to the beach?
You pay your you play your cards right, you might get something.
I could take my new. So there I was, banana hammock down to Punta Cana here in the next month.
Yep. He's going to do it.
I just got a visual on that.
Oh.
You can pull that off, bro. You can pull that off. You still got a body for that.
It's pretty nauseating, but hey, what the
hell? Your wife will kill us.
Oh God,
we have a glossary. We try to keep up with.
Anybody with that?
Listen, we've thrown out a lot of acronyms like we always do. We try to keep up with them. We have a glossary in case you don't know what an acronym means. It's in our glossary, and if we don't have it in the glossary, send us an email. Send it to sticks@sothereiwas.us.
That's if you want a real answer.
If you want a real answer, because Sticks is on that shit like white on rice.
Or you could write to us, I suppose.
You could, Bob. I mean, I'm just going to be straight up with you. I'll give you a half-assed answer.
We'll forward it to Sticks.
We're going to forward to Sticks. Sticks is spot on. And by the way, Brad Badass Silcott at BDS Aviation. There's his. Look at that. That's a good look.
Oh, great! I've seen his pictures. Does good work.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's got amazing pictures.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
Indeed. BDSAviationphotography.com.
So, thank you, Badass.
Yeah.
That's his call sign, Badass.
Yep.
It's a long story.
And then, of course, we've mentioned them a couple times here, but Sticks and Bago. They're doing all the production work behind the scenes, which allows us to actually concentrate on having a conversation instead of having to type and do other stuff. So
those guys are awesome.
It's been fantastic. Yeah. So the sound in this one may be a little rough. We've had some coming and going from Fig, and he's on his tethered to his phone. I've been banging on my keyboard occasionally, and so apologies up front for that. Or no, I guess apologies here at the end. You just listened to all that crap, and if you didn't like it, too bad. Give us a 5-star rating anyway at sothereiwas.us/rate. Make it so. So, yeah. Hey, what do you think there, Fig? A couple more people we should thank?
Well, we probably ought to thank the 2 Air Force F-16 pilots that make the Air Force sound good.
Those guys.
Those gringos for letting us use their music.
Nice.
They have great music.
It is the best on the planet.
I like that GIF on the right. That's good. I like that stuff. That's good.
Yeah.
Right.
That was one of his students. I thought it was one of the Dos Gringos. He said, no, it was one of the students in the rag. We made him dress up like a clown. It's on their album cover, album number 2.
I need 2 volunteers. You and you. Come with me.
Yeah. There you go. All right, boys. Until next week, stay safe and check 6.
Oh, there's good.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
What?
He said it's over. That's for you, Disco.
That's it, baby.
That was awesome.
man.
That was awesome.
It was fun, fellas. It was a good time.